How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Ha, man, what's up? 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 What's good, man? Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to the. My bad.
I fixed it. Chill. Fix Mike Twin. They spam me. Da. Chill. What the fuck is good? How are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling? How are you all living? Okay. Man, this was a fucking looking tired. Yeah, I fucking am, bro. I am tired. Okay. I am tired. Okay, I'm glad I look tired. Thank you for portraying that and letting me know that I look tired, because I am in fact tired. Okay. I've been monitoring the situation. It was a fucking ridiculous weekend. Bitcoin is I mean, look, with war going on, Bitcoin is absolutely ripping, right? I think that's fair to say. I think you can declare this a rip. Honestly, you could declare this a rip. I woke up this morning to 64, 65 BTC, and it's at 69.4 right now. Bitcoin is ripping. This weekend, I went out and I ripped hard, crazy. I have a crazy story to start the stream with. I ripped. Bitcoin's ripping Palantir's ripping, which is, you know, I have exposure now to equities. I'm an equities trader. I'm Michael Burry's counterparty, and it's not going very fucking well for Michael Burry today. That's ripping. Oil is ripping. SPY is somehow green today, and there's a lot going on. We are going to be covering war. A new banger just dropped with Professor Jiang. Just dropped on Breaking Points. I'm fucking hyped to watch this. It's 15 minutes. I'm so hyped to watch this. We're gonna watch that shortly. There was all of these developments with War Claude over the weekend. Who was following that? Developments. Sam Altman slimed our boy Dario. Like, bro, it got crazy this weekend. I am absolutely not a geopolitical expert. And so War Claude was about the extent of what I could do ball knowledge wise. So we're gonna cover it all. We're gonna do our best. We're gonna cover some of it. Definitely the implications on the markets, which right now, Bitcoin is seemingly reacting positively to bad news for the first time in, I don't know, the Shmiko top. Hyperliquid is on a sun run right now, which is awesome. We're talking about Hyperliquid's at 32.6 right now. It got as high as 33.7, and I think it was the first time that I can remember that there has been major geopolitical unrest since Hyperliquid has been a thing and had volume, and it held up incredibly. So that was awesome. Venice AI is fucking ripping. VVV is going crazy. I have AI slop. There's like a million things going on right now. Somehow it has escalated since last week of stream, which I thought things could not get crazier than what we experienced last week on stream. And we have a million things to talk about. So I have no war guests today. On Wednesday, we have like probably my favorite guest of all time is coming on. Suspended Cap. We'll talk more about him in maybe at the end of the stream. We'll cover him. Probably my favorite guest on the timeline right now is, I'm hyped for that. I'll see what we can do tomorrow as far as geopolitical war guests. But you know, Monday we pull up and we go solo every single time. The right guy, you getting drafted? Dude, you don't want to see me in war, bro. I wasn't built for war. I don't think I'm built for war. Look, the battles I fight are in my head every day. How you get drafted? Okay, I before we get into stream, let's like settle into Monday, okay? Let's settle into Monday. I have some stories. Actually, wait, let me set the tone real quick. I got a video real quick. Let me set the tone real quick. Tone setter. Damn, my camera's loud. My mic's loud as fuck. 2024, brothers, this AI better than ChatGPT called Claude. It literally one-shotted my entire front end. I need to do. I have a couple story times before we get into it. I don't want to front run anything, but I don't think anyone had any fucking idea how integrated Claude was into the military because, bro, it's insane. Seriously, they of course used Claude actively in the Iran strikes. No, we had no idea. Like, bro, we started covering this topic on Maduro as like a side headline, and it's insane. It's fucking insane. But okay, we'll get to it. Before we do anything, also Claude being down today was like, I had absolutely no idea how reliant my life was on. I had to send an email to my surgeon. Claude was down and it was rough. Like, it's not that I can't send an email, but like Claude had written the God email and it was down and I couldn't load it. And you know, it requires like brain strain to write an email. It does. It requires brain strain to write an email, and Claude, it takes none. It just writes it. And it's crazy. Okay, so I have a story for you. This weekend, I told you guys the weekend thing. I am mission stream without mentioning Claude. Who would want to do that? Okay, so watch. My thing is, I've told you this. It's Friday, Saturday. I go out. I fucking rip. I go get info about the real world. I bring it back. We're gonna be. I'm done with this. After this weekend, it was too much. It took me out for 2 days straight. I still have like sulfate under my eyes and shit. The hefty puffy eyes. And I tried to give my brother a demo on Claude Code on Saturday, and I couldn't speak words. It was so bad. But okay, I have a story time for you guys. I have a couple stories. So on Friday night, I got invited to a Cabal dinner with Malcolm, okay, who you guys know is my goat. And it was with one guy. I don't want to say who it is, but he's like a 9-fig like crypto Chad, okay? Like hedge fund, like a big wig trader. No, it wasn't KBM. But I did it with KBM on Thursday. Like a big wig trader, okay? I'm going out, like it was like a guy's a big deal. He's a CT guy, whatever. But like one of the best in the game. It wasn't base 16Z. But I'm not gonna tell you what it is. I can't do too much deduction because there's not that many like 9-fig crypto guys. And it's a big, like I was hyped to meet him. So he's in Cincinnati. And he invites us to this super nice restaurant. I don't like dox the restaurant even, but whatever. We go to this restaurant and it's like out of my league. Like I'm not normally going to these types of restaurants. It's like a sit down. They have like performers and they're like singing and it's like all the beautiful women in like dress, like business dresses. Like every man's like in a suit. I pull up in a crew neck and like have like boots on. I was wearing what was I wearing? I was wearing a button-up dress shirt that was fully open. I had a wife beater under it with a chain hanging out and some boots on, okay? My shit was fresh, I'm not gonna lie. And so we pull up to this dinner and we sit down and okay, look, I eat at nice restaurants. Like I eat nice dinners, I order nice stuff, I eat good food. I go to I'll go to a nice Italian spot, rip $100 glass of wine. I spend money on dinners, okay? But this was another level. Like this wasn't the type of dinner I'm going to. I don't think you're like getting a reservation at this place, right? This is kind of like it's like some high class shit, okay? And so we sit down at this restaurant and she's singing and like it's an atmosphere, okay? Just baddies, bro, baddies. And we sit down and we start ordering. And we get like the wine menu. And by the way, I'm going to this dinner and I'm not even thinking about my wallet. The only reason I even have a wallet is if I get ID'd, but I'm not touching a wallet, obviously. Like this is like, I got invited to a dinner. You're supposed to just pretend like you don't even have a wallet, okay? And then it isn't even on some like get up and go to the bathroom before the bill comes. It's like, don't even look at the bill. Or just like look at it knowing you're not even opening it, okay? And so he's like, you guys got a wine he's like, you all want to drink? And we're like, yeah, of course. And he's like, you got a wine preference? And I'm like, alcoholic. That's it. Just make sure it's alcoholic. And so he gets this extensive wine menu, right? And so first he starts round of espresso martinis, round of tequila shots. I'm like, all right, fuck. And he gets the wine menu and he's like, you got a preference? I said, alcoholic. And he's looking. He orders like a $2,000 bottle of wine. Okay. And so he points to the menu. I want this bottle. It's $2,000 bottle of wine. He spawns $100 bill, like $300 bills in his hand and is handing them to the waiters. Like, take care of us. And I'm like, all right, we're on. Like, okay, here's the thing I'll say. It's like, at this stage of my life, I've met a lot of rich people. Like, I've met a lot of like 18-year-old kid that like had, made 50 million crypto. I've met a lot of rich people. I haven't met a lot of people that know how to be rich well. Okay, there's like being rich, and then there's like being good at being rich. And this guy was really good at being rich. Like he's smooth, he's handing out hundreds, like, okay. And so we order like a $2,000 bottle of wine, and we eat this dinner, and we're drinking, we're talking about crypto, really optimistic about crypto, by the way, which is awesome. And it's like this elaborate, like, bro, right? I don't know how long we had dinner for, Malcolm. 2 hours, we're there for 2.5 hours. Spawning hundreds in the palm of his hand. Like this guy like really knew how to move as a rich guy. Like really knew how to like be rich. Like driver, got the whole nine, right? And so we're sitting at dinner I'm just firing questions. What do you think about this coin? What do you think about this? What do you think about this in crypto? I'm just like firing questions at him. He's answering all of them, telling me stories. Tell me this story. Tell me about this hedge, this fund. And how did this guy make his money? How did this guy make his money? How did this guy make his money? I'm just like getting lower. I want more. Give me more and more and more. Deeper. Go deeper. More stories, more lore. And so we're at dinner for 2.5 hours. Finally, we get to like the end of dinner. And the waiter walks over. And he looks at our friend. So it's like Malcolm, me, and the friend in the booth. Malcolm's like in a chair. And he's looking at the friend. And he comes over and he's like, hey, I'm just letting you know that your dinner's been comped. Somebody covered your bill. And by the way, me and Malcolm I'm not going to say we are infatuated with said guy, but I'm a little bit enamored. Like, this guy, he really knows how to move. And I'm kind of like, I'm feeling it. He's like, the gentleman over there has covered your tab. Walks away. And me and Malcolm look at each other and we're like, bro, look, at this point, we're just glazing. I'm going to just keep it a buck. We're just glazing. And I look at him and I'm like, who's that? And he's like, no reaction. He's like, I don't know. Like, a lot of rich people owe me money, he says. And I'm like, oh, all right. Like, fuck, that's so sick. I'm not a hard guy to find. A lot of people owe me money. Like, fuck, all right. And right after that, we're sitting down. We order one more drink. He's telling us a story. And then another waiter comes over. And this time he's looking by the way, this is a true story. He's looking directly at me. And he goes, hey, I'm on a corner guy, Malcolm. And he goes, hey, I just want to let you know, looking dead in my soul, I just want to let you know that it was the fella over at that table. His name is so-and-so. If you want to go meet him, he told me to give you a heads up. It was him. He's the one who come to me, and he's looking directly at me. And so he walks away, the waiter walks away, and then the guy, our friend, cracks a joke, and he's like, haha, like, threadguy, guess it's for you. And we're like, haha, yeah, we're joking, oh, he's not fucking for me. So I'm like, all right, give me 30 seconds, I gotta go pee. I throw the phantom sign on, and I get up to go to the bathroom, and it's like, they have 2 bathroom doors, that's it. And I'm waiting in line for the bathroom, and someone in the back of the line goes, threadguy? And I'm like, yeah? And he goes, dude, what's up? I'm the guy who paid for your dinner. I walked in, I saw you, and I couldn't believe it. And I dap him up. And I'm like, you see how much that bill is? And he goes, yeah, I know how much the bill is. Do you know how incredible your content is and how much you've done for me as a content creator? And I'm like, I guess not. And I dap him up, and there's a long line for the bathroom, right? And so right when he says that, the bathroom door opens. I look at him. He looks at me. I look at everybody else on the line. He's like, you may use the restroom. And I'm like, all right, good luck. Come back to the table though. And so I took his permission. I go use the restroom. I come back out. I go sit down, and Malcolm and this guy are in the middle of this huge convo. This deep. I come over, and Malcolm's deep, has his hand on his shoulder. They're in this deep, this deep thing, eye contact. And I come sit down with the biggest smile on my face. I can't wait to tell this guy, right? I can't wait to say what just happened. But they don't even look at me. They're in the middle of a conversation. And then the guy walks over. And he's like, yo, just want to let you guys know, I'm the guy who paid for threadguy's dinner. And we all look at each other. I have a big smile on my face. And then he goes, wait, is that Mac D? Are you Mac D Gods? And I'm like, there's no way. There's actually no way. And Malcolm is in his head, there's no way too. He looks at him and he's like, yeah. And this guy goes, dude, you have no idea how much I fuck with you. I was an OG D-God fan. And I know how much you grinded on design in the Figmas and every rollout. Dude, no way you're Mac D-Gods. He's more geeked to meet Malcolm than me. And I mean, like, look, Malcolm's the GOAT, but he's not like the most well-known face in crypto, right? Like, he's just not. I love him to death. He's not. And then, so he says it to Malcolm, he's geeked. Looks at me, he's geeked. And then he looks at the guy whose dinner we are at, like 9-figure guy, and goes, oh, like, I guess I don't know you. And he looks at the guy and our friend, me and Malcolm start fucking geeking, bro. And our friend looks at the guy who paid for the dinner and he's like, oh yeah, like I'm so-and-so. And the other guy goes, oh, nice to meet you. Like, cool, whatever. And then he looks back, he's like, Malcolm and threadguy. Like, I just can't believe I met you guys. Like, da-da-da-da-da-da. And basically he's like, okay, cool. Like, you guys enjoy your dinner. Like, enjoy your dinner. I gotta go. I'm like, bro, you know, that was like a $5,000 bill, right? He's like, threadguy, it doesn't matter what the bill is, okay? I said, my bad, G. And he walks away, and that was it. Gone. And we all look at each other, and our friend was like, aura, what else are you supposed to say? And then our bit for the entire night was that, like, our friend was in the hole $100 on dinner because he tipped the fucking waiter $100 who ordered our wine. And that's how the night started, bro. That's how the night started. And it was, yeah, it's a true story. Like, I can't really make that one up, right? I can't really make that one up. And so that's how the night started. And it turned into a movie, bro. It turned into a movie. I don't know. It turned into a movie. And it's probably the last Friday night that I go out. Because, bro, I woke up the next day. Dude, I wake up the next morning at 2 p.m. I wake up at 2 p.m. No, first of all, we're like in, we go out after. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're at this function, and I'm like getting noties on my phone, TradingView noties. And the U.S. is like striking Iran, and I'm looking at my phone, and Bitcoin's at like 60, 67, 66, 65. I'm looking around. Everyone's like, why are you on your phone? I'm like, why are you not? What the fuck? What's happening? And I probably had one too many espresso martinis because it's not the tequila that gets you. It's the caffeine. It's the caffeine that gets you. And I had one too many espresso martinis. And I'm looking at my phone and I'm like, dude, since we got to this function, my net worth is down like a relatively large amount. And so we might as well just keep going, right? Like, it's already 3 a.m. and I'm just getting, I'm down a lot of money. We might as well just keep going. And so we did. We kept going. And I went to bed at like 6. I have these blackout curtains. Now, remember I told you my curtains broke? I got my curtains fixed. I have these blackout curtains. And I go to bed at 6. And I wake up at like 2 p.m. First thing I do is open the pit, our Telegram. And I scroll the pit, and my most recent message, it was some slop, has like 20 comments. And I'm like, fuck, what did I say? what did I say last night? And I open the comments, and every single one is like, wake the fuck up. Like, we're going to war and our paid group leader's sleeping. Like, wake the fuck up. Like, where is he? And I'm like, I slapped myself a couple times. I watch a Breaking Points video. I go outside. I throw on like a wife beater. I get in the cold. Watch this real quick. I walk to the park. I'm listening to Breaking Points at the park. And I walk past Cameron Winklevoss from like the Winklevoss twins. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck is going on? My life is a movie right now. What's going on? I walk by Cameron Winklevoss. And I'm like, dude, you can't miss him. He's like 6'8" and beautiful. Doming hard-boiled eggs. And yeah, I'm like in Tim's and a wife beater. I'm like, hey, I'm threadguy. And he's like, oh, cool. I'm a billionaire. I own Gemini. Good to meet you. And that is the story. So that's what happened this weekend. One other thing happened this weekend, and then we're going to just get straight into Iran, and I'll skip some of the other slop. I want to watch this Professor Jiang video so bad. One more thing happened this weekend. One more story time. It's a quick one. It's a quick one. Yeah, that shit doesn't happen in LA. You run into like a Bella Danger in LA. All right. Last story I want to tell you really quick. It's a why crypto story, and then we're gonna just get right into fucking war and markets. Okay. Worst name drop on stream of all time. Yeah, that was not funny at all. Last story time, really quick, is okay. I'm trying to get into high fashion now. I'm doing this like, okay, I live in New York. Like, I'm trying to like relate to like the art crowd. It's like my wife probably is like an art girl. Like, I'm trying to like relate to this crowd. And so I have this whole art thing going on. And so Sunday morning, after like listening to just like war coverage, I'm like, I should probably go outside and look at this, look at the sun, like do something. And so I put this route into my phone, and it's like all these like art galleries and shit. And so I go to this art gallery. Yeah, I'm into high fashion, like dress shirts. Like I'm really into this whole thing, this NYU sort of like New York thing. I'm really like living it. I'm really immersing myself in the culture. Going to the clubs. Like I'm really like doing the New York thing. It's like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, right? Ripped really hard for like, yeah, like I'm really like, I'm moving like my dad's like the VP at Goldman Sachs. That's like how I'm moving around. Like I'm moving like we go to the Hamptons every weekend. And like I'm really moving like that. I'm really living that. I'm really like putting myself in the brain of this archetype and trying to just act the part. And so I'm on this real quick. This is a quick one, I promise. Then we'll just flip it 180 to talk about war. But forgive me if I want to burn a little bit of energy before we talk about war. Okay, like forgive me. And so I'm on this tour, and mind you, for some reason I'm like really. Let me just be honest. I'm really intimidated to go into these galleries, because you walk into one of these art galleries, there's nobody there. There's one like 30-year-old woman with glasses on at her computer, like working the register, and it's just like a white room. And it's just like a little intimidating to walk in these places. So I'm scared to walk in them. Finally, I find one where I'm comfortable enough to walk in. Okay. And I walk into one of these galleries, and dude, it's a movie. It's a movie. Because just like I'm on my like art Hamptons Nepo kid thing, I'm also in this. I have this big like 90s, 80s, 70s like nostalgia, like black and white nostalgia thing going. Like I'm rocking Bob Dylan, and I'm fucking with Hosier and shit like this, right? So I have this big like nostalgic thing going on. And so it's like a photography gallery. Okay? And I'm in there ore farming. I got on like like some vintage Carhartt. I have like the wired earbuds coming down. I got some Jordans on. Like I look like a real yeah, Hosier, take me to church. I look like a real LA kid. I'm just like trying to like plant my flag. Like I'm trying to get into the archetype of these Hamptons people, but I'm really from LA. Like I really am from Richmond, Virginia. I'm really from LA. Like I'm really like getting into the groove. And so I know nothing about photography, right? And so I'm just like walking around looking at the photos. Like I know nothing about photography, but I'm like, oh, that's a nice picture, and that one looks real. I don't think that's AI. That's a nice angle. Like I really don't know photography. And so I'm skipping through, here's a $4,000 photo, a $10,000. I'm like, Jesus, where the fuck am I? $5,000 FOMO, $5,000, $3,000 FOMO. I'm kind of like walking around waiting for like, is this where I meet my wife? I'm kind of like walking around looking a little lost in the photography gallery. I was the only person there, so it didn't really play out the way that I wanted it to play out. But finally, I'm looking, and bang, it hits me. I find it. And it's this photo of Bob Dylan in like an empty, like a sound check from behind pause. And he looks sick. And I'm like, I have to leave with something, right? I don't want this woman to think I'm a LARP. And so here it is. It's sick. You want to see? Glaze me. Yeah. It's sick. It's really sick, right? And so I buy this thing, and it's $600, this photo. And I'm like looking at it. I'm like, the autograph like looks real. It's the photographer signed it. I'm like, okay, looks real. Doesn't look like AI, I don't think. And it says 1 out of 25 on the back. And I just buy it. Because I'm like, look, I saved, how much money did I save at dinner? Like, I just bought it. Okay, I bought it. I wanted it. I saw it. I wanted to just like start my art career. And I'm just like, just give it to me. Just fucking give it. I've been here for 30 minutes. Not a single woman's walked in. Just give it to me. I want it. And so I walk out of the gallery and I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, wait, how do I know if this is real? And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, okay, it's like printed out. It says 1 out of 50 in ink on the back. Like someone wrote 1 out of 50 on the back. And it has like a signature on the front from like the photographer. And I'm sitting here like, so I start talking to Claude. And I'm like, wait, couldn't you hypothetically just like in theory, the artist like printed this out, right? The photographer like printed this out. Claude's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So if this thing's worth $600, couldn't you just print more? And Claude's like, well, yeah, you probably could just print more. And so I'm like, okay, how do I know that there's only 50? And Claude's like, well, you don't exactly know that there's only 50. But the place that you bought it from is a real gallery. Like it has a real reputation, and they would be putting their reputation at stake. And I'm like, okay, well, how does the place I bought it from know it's real? And Claude's like, well, that's the thing. They don't. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, did I just spend $600 on like a fucking piece of printer paper? And Claude's like, well, maybe. And so I'm just like walking down the street and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how you're telling me that the art market is this multi-billion, I don't know how many billions is the art market, like many billions of dollars. And the whole thing is just like, trust me. Like, here's a certificate that I printed out and photoshopped with Nana Banana 2. And Claude's like, well, yeah, that's basically how the art market works. Also, we haven't even begun to get into the money laundering, so good luck. And I'm like, okay. And so at the same time that I'm realizing that art is just like a scam, the U.S. is like striking Iran and markets are closed, which, dude, I mean, we could talk, why crypto sucks all day, but that is I began markets with crypto, so I'm just used to everything trades 24/7. The idea that we could go to war, like that countries are waiting for market close on Friday to like launch war strikes so the market can't whipsaw is a ridiculous thought. I mean, that is a crazy thought that is a thing. And then we could be at war and your positions are just locked in a Robinhood brokerage account is insane. And so at this time, Bitcoin was 65K, looked like fucking dog shit. But I'm sitting here realizing I just spent $600 on a fucking piece of printer paper that's fake. And the market's closed while we are like at war. And it's a kind of sobering thought on, yeah, this crypto thing actually is just better. It's just better. Price action aside, everything aside, this crypto thing is just better. And so that was my weekend. That was my realizations. And I saved a lot of money on dinner. So now let's talk about some serious stuff. W intro. I told my handlers I was going to slop it up today. I said I'm going to get fucking two-hand Gluck 6900. I'm going to slop it. Tears on your face? Wipe them, dude. Fucking wipe them. I need tears on your face. There's no time to wipe them. Let's go. All right. Here we go. We have a lot to talk about. I kind of want to just watch Professor Jiang video right away and get into it. 9% of the intro was cap. Every single thing I said today was cap. or every single thing I said today was true. Basically. There maybe is like 15% at the margins that get a little ridiculous, but 90% of what I said today, whoa, 80% of what I just told you is true. And the other 20% is better that I included it. So, all right, we have a lot to talk about today. The best part about everything, just to set the stage a little bit, is this is the first time since the top of the market, which was, by the way, October. By the way, we've had 5. It's crazy it's been 5. We have had 5 red monthly candles on BTC. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have only ever had 5 red monthlies once. Not here, 1, 2, 3. Not FTX. Never. Except for 18, bro. When Bitcoin went from 7K to 2K. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We had 6 once. 6 red candles. It went from all-time high of 19, but when the red candle started, we were at 7.6K down to 3. That led to the move up to 14, back to 3, which is ridiculous, and then 65K. Just like a god run of all god runs. We are currently 5 consecutive monthly candles into this down move. Since October, we have not even had a single meaningful bounce. There was this fake bounce in like December, January, up to 98, which was just Michael Saylor with the worst execution in the history of markets being executed live in front of our face. Made a move to 98, got completely rejected, and then just down only. We're fighting. Bitcoin is fighting right now. It's fighting right now. And I definitely think that we're due. But the one important note here, I think, is that what is this? Ooh, we'll get to this. Tulip King, we'll get to this. Send those in the stream chat when you think we should cover them. The one thing that is notable here is I'm basically just watching geopolitical controversy through the lens of markets. And Bitcoin specifically is probably the biggest winner right now. It's probably the biggest winner. Let's go 4 hours. It's making a move. And it's the first time that I'm what could be seen as bad news, because basically any news Bitcoin just dumps. Good news, it stays flat. Any bad news, it's just like looking for reasons to dump. It feels like it has stopped looking for reasons to dump, and it's starting to look for reasons to pump. And so we're at 69.3 right now. I said on my Telegram that we can't really get too excited about anything until we get over like 71 with some volume. But we are, in my opinion, under a full narrative reset on BTC. It feels like it's starting. At the same time, it lines up perfectly with what's happening with Hyperliquid, which we have a full segment planned on Hype. Bloomberg posted it and published an article on Hyperliquid, which, yeah, I mean, it's cinema. What else do you want me to say? It's fucking cinema. And it's lining up. So scam pump, real pump. I mean, what do you think, chat? Real pump or scam pump? In the meantime, let's talk about war. I mean, look, this is what I want. I want to watch this. Professor Jiang, who is a little bit nuts. I hope this isn't like too crazy of a video. If it gets too ridiculous, we might have to stop watching it. But I think this is what I've been waiting for. Predicts U.S. will lose Iran war. Y'all down to 15 minutes, 1.5x. Y'all ready? Let's fucking watch it. Y'all down? We have to watch it. If it gets crazy, we'll turn it off, but we have to watch it. It just came out. I mean, this is box office. All right, let's go.
All right, guys, we've got
My headphones are off. Also, he has nailed a lot of this a while ago. Like, there's all these old clips resurfacing. Your box office, thanks, G.
All right, guys, we've got yet another heavy hitter guest and first-time guest on the show, Professor Zhang. He is the star of the
We gotta try to get him on, Fresher Jang.
popular YouTube channel Predictive History.
Also, if you're taking this guy seriously, legit 80Q drone, I just want to hear like him lay it. I just want to like let him lay it out. Whether we believe him or not is a different story. He definitely got the double jaw, by the way. I just want to hear him lay it out.
He uses game theory to analyze past, current, and to predict future geopolitical events. And he joins us now. Professor, great to have you.
Good to see you, sir.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, of course. So, for people who aren't familiar with your work, I wanted to show folks that back in 2024, you made 3 big predictions. 1, that Trump would win. 2, that he would start a war with Iran. And 3, that the U.S. would lose that war. Let's take a listen to that.
In this class this semester, I'm making 3 big predictions, right? First is that Trump will win in November. Second is that the United States will go to war against Iran. And the third big prediction is that the United States will lose
He did Sneeko interview like a week ago. It was kind of a movie.
this war, which will forever change the global order.
So obviously that last one is the only one that has not yet come to fruition. Is quite a stunning prediction. Do you stand by it? And what have you seen so far that leads you to sort of stand firm in that conclusion?
So given my analysis of how the war is progressing, I think that Iran has many more advantages over the United States. The reality is that right now, it's a war of attrition between the United States and Iran. And the Iranians have been preparing 20 years for this conflict. In their eschatology, in their religion, this is a war against the great Satan. They've had many practice runs. Last June was a 12-day war when the Iranians were able to examine and analyze the strike capacities of both the Israelis and the Americans. And they've had a lot of time, 8 months, to prepare fully for this new attack. They, through their proxies, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Hamas, and the Shia militias, have been able to really grasp the American mentality. And now they have a pretty good strategy of how to weaken and ultimately destroy the American empire. So what the Iranians are doing is they're waging war against the entire global economy. And so they are striking the GCC countries. And not only are they striking GCC countries, American bases, they're going after the critical
Bro should have quit after his 2 predictions.
energy infrastructure of these bases. They blocked off the Strait of Hormuz. And eventually, they will go after the water desalination plants, which is the lifeblood of these nations because they don't have fresh water supply. In fact, the water desalination plants provides 60% of the GCC's water supply. So if a drone, and these drones cost $50,000, if they wiped out a desalination plant in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's a city of 10 million people, right? They'd be out of water in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And right now, the Iranians have de facto closed off the Strait of Hormuz.
They'd be out of water in 2 weeks. Wait, go back.
Cost $50,000. If they wiped out a desalination plant in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and it's a city of 10 million people, right? They'd be out of water in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks. And right now, the Iranians have de facto closed off the Strait of Hormuz, and the GCC gets 90% of its food from the Strait of Hormuz. So I know a lot of people are
Which is now closed.
talking about the disruptions to the global economy, but right now the Iranians are actually threatening the very existence of Saudi Arabia, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar. And why this is important is that the Gulf states are really the linchpin of the American economy. So what they do is they sell petrodollars and then they recycle the petrodollars back into the American economy through the investments in the stock market. And right now we know that the entire American economy is propped up by AI investments in data centers. And a lot of that comes from the Gulf states. So if the
It was 21 miles wide at its narrowest is insane. 21 miles wide. Jeez.
Gulf states are
Jeez.
no longer able to sell oil, and they're no longer able to finance AI, this AI bubble in the United States, then this AI bubble will burst, and with it will burst as well as the entire American economy, which is really a financial Ponzi scheme.
Right.
So that's a dire situation
Nice. The entire American economy's financial Ponzi scheme. I guess.
that the Americans are facing right now.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, sir.
Feels a little aggressive. The entire American economy is a Ponzi scheme. It's like, okay, what does that even mean? It's like a little aggressive.
Amazon data center was literally hit in the
It's a little aggressive. I mean, all right, fine.
UAE. And now, of course, big tech companies, which were looking at the UAE as a major potential data center investment hub with cheap and abundant energy, probably going to be rethinking that. We also wanted to talk to you about munitions. We can put this next one up
rat in
here on the
disguise.
screen. The United States is racing to accomplish Iran mission before munitions run out. This is specifically around interceptor math. There's a famous video just from yesterday in Israel, which shows a single Iranian ballistic missile, which is being targeted by some 11 different interceptors, all of which miss. Most of those come from the United States, not to mention all of the different bases, the GCC countries that you just talked about, and the asymmetry of the cost. It's $1 million for a missile, tens of millions per interceptor in some of these cases.
$1 million per missile, tens of millions per interceptor.
From the United States.
U.S. races to accomplish Iran mission race before munitions run
It's
out.
not to mention all of the
10
bases,
million per
GCC countries
interceptor.
that you just talked about, and the asymmetry of the cost. It's $1 million for a missile, tens of millions per interceptor in some of these cases. With
$1 million per missile is nuts. Jeez.
these munitions running out, how
FC Palantir. Okay.
does that change the global picture? So you're in China, obviously, much of the stocks in Asia of the United States are likely to have to be cannibalized if this were to go on. How's that going to affect the global picture here?
Right. So my first point is that the United States military is not designed to fight a 21st century war. Remember, the military-industrial complex came to being after World War II. It was designed to fight the Cold War. And the Cold War was really about muscle flexing, about who was able to send people up into space, who was the first to get the person on the moon, who had the more complex missile systems. And so the entire American military strategy revolves around very sophisticated technology that costs a lot of money to build. And that's what the American air defense system is basically. And that's why we're seeing this asymmetry, as you point out, in this war, where you have these $1 million missiles trying to take out these $50,000 drones. And it's not sustainable in the long term.
Brother doesn't know about war, Claude.
And so what we're seeing is really the puncturing of the aura of invincibility and inevitability that sustained American hegemony for the past 20 years, especially after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And this is really a reordering of not just the global economy, because this signals the collapse of the petrodollar, and with it, the entire US dollar-based
What's the petrodollar?
reserve currency system, but also
A petrodollar, US dollar earned by oil exporting countries. Got it.
the global hegemony of the United States. We're moving towards a multipolar world.
Professor,
U.S. dollar earned by oil exporting countries from the sale of oil to other nations. A system that originated in the 1970s and has played a key role in the U.S. dollar status as the world's primary reserve currency. Because oil is globally traded in U.S. dollars, countries worldwide must acquire dollars to purchase energy, creating consistent global demand for currency. It was established in 1974 via a largely informal agreement between the U.S. and Saudi Arabia following 1971 end of Bretton Woods. Got rid of the gold standard. Saudi Arabia agreed to price its oil exports exclusively in U.S. dollars. In return, the U.S. provided security guarantees, military protections, and arms sales. Petrodollar recycling. Oil exporting nations, OPEC, often had more dollar revenue than they could spend domestically. They recycled these surplus dollars by investing them back in the U.S. Treasury bonds and financial assets, which help finance U.S. budget deficit and keep interest rates low. I see. The U.S. market economy is one giant Ponzi scheme. I see. Not a separate currency. A petrodollar is not a distinct currency. It is simply a U.S. dollar obtained from oil sales. Okay, just like a category, like we sell the U.S. oil, U.S. gives a dollar, which we just label a petrodollar. Let me go back real quick.
Hiring 20 years, especially after the collapse of the Soviet Union. And this is really a reordering of not just the global economy, because this signals the collapse of the petrodollar, and with it, the entire US dollar-based
Collapse of the petrodollar.
reserve currency system, but also the global hegemony of the United States. We're moving towards a multipolar world.
Professor, this morning, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth was asked a question about potential ground troops in Iran. He refused to rule out that possibility. And he said, oh, well, we're not going to project to you what we will or will not do, but we don't want to, rule anything out. We will do what it takes. Do you think that America will end up invading Iran from the ground, since it's already becoming relatively clear they won't be able to accomplish the goal of regime change or even regime collapse using just air power alone?
Right. So everyone says that the worst calamity.
If this happens, by the way, ground invasion, what has to get set up for there to be a draft? Like seriously asking. Like what conditions are required for there to be a draft?
that could happen in the United States is if it were to send ground troops into Iran. At the same time, the United States are committed to regime change in Iran. We've never had a precedent in history where you were able to regime change from the air alone.
Wait, I have to ask. Because I actually can't not like have an answer to this like right this moment. If the U.S. chose a ground invasion into Iran, what would have to happen for it to be a military? Are there any like unks in here, like unks that have ever been like in the running for a draft? Is anyone like really unk in here? The draft will require specific chain events, legal prerequisite. Congress would have to pass legislation reactivating the draft. The selective service system exists and men 18 to 25 are registered. Bro, I'm 24. There's no active conscription authority. The president can't unilaterally draft people. What would actually trigger that policy? Or what would actually trigger that politically? The all-volunteer force would need to be visibly insufficient. That means a ground invasion of Iran goes badly. Think prolonged urban warfare. Casualty rates high. Realistically, you need several things converging. A sustained campaign requiring 500,000 plus troops. That's insane. The honest take, it's almost unthinkable in the current political environment. Vietnam broke the country's appetite. That was so long ago. What years were Vietnam? Ignore my spelling. Red, we're going to war. Tulip can take over the show. Jeez. God damn. Draft was active 64 to 73. Holy fuck. Dude, that's a long fucking time. Oh. They were just drafting people. How many people got drafted for Vietnam? Stop. Dude, I'm going to be honest. In my life, I've never even thought about the draft. 2.2 million out of 27 million. Dude, 1 out of 10 chance. Holy fuck. 1 out of 10 is not great. It's like Russian roulette. Sheesh. Damn, that is not great. TBH drafts are only a problem if you're poor. Can people buy their way out of a draft? Jeez. Historically, yes. What? During the Civil War, you could pay $300? That wouldn't even get you a bottle of wine where we just came from. About 7K today for a substitute. That's where rich man war, poor man's fight comes from. Damn, that is dark. Also, I have a torn labrum. I don't even think I'm physically fit. Like, I mean, look, I am physically adept, but like legally, I'm not sure that I'm fit. I mean, I'm physically able. Did Trump dodge war? That's crazy. Trump dodged war for 7K. That's all it costs. One for medical, his feet, the college deferments. So if you're going to college, you don't have to go to war. I don't even know what a bone spur is. You didn't know about Trump? No, I guess not. Did he technically dodge it? No, he used the system as it existed. Wasn't there some big drama? Wasn't there some big drama with Muhammad Ali and the war? Yeah, he refused induction in 1967, famously saying, okay. Stripped of his heavyweight title, banned from boxing, convicted of draft evasion, sentenced to 5 years in prison. Jeez. They overturned his conviction, Clay versus the United States. He'd already lost 3 prime years. He never got back. Wow. Why did he not just spend 7 bans? Look up Jesse Ventura. Who is Jesse Ventura? Former pro wrestler turned politician, governor of Minnesota from 93 to 99 to 2003, running as the third party candidate. He sued Chris Kyle's estate, American Sniper. Jesse Ventura about Trump. Chat wants me. We'll go back to the video in a second to ask what are they saying. We'll go back in a second. Hold on. Ventura been going hard at Trump recently. Oh. I thought this was relevant to like war stuff. Oh, you told me to watch an interview. Okay, maybe at some point we will. We should obviously finish the professor video, right? Yeah.
We need ground troops. And so unfortunately, what's going to happen over the next few months is that pressure will build on America to send ground troops, especially for.
Wow, they send ground troops. That's insane. When's the last? Wait, let me ask one more question, Claude. When is the last time America deployed ground troops? Yeah, this interview's from today, by the way. This interview's like an hour old. Holy fuck, 2003. I was like just born. The answer is Iraq 2003. It's the last time you just committed to anything resembling that scale. What would have to happen, or what headlines should we watch out for to assume the U.S. will deploy full-scale ground troops in Iran? I could see a draft. Escalating ladder to watch, roughly in order. Already happening. Carrier strike groups repositioning to the Persian Gulf. Watch for second or third carrier group. 1 is normal. 3 is pre-war posture. Okay. Do I have a VVV section up here? Troops. Troops buildings. Staging bases. Diplomatic language shifting from all options on the table to specific red lines and ultimatums. Mid-stage escalation. A major kinetic event. Iran sinks a U.S. vessel, kills U.S. service members, or successfully strikes a U.S. base with significant casualties. It hasn't crossed that threshold yet. Iran tests or is confirmed close to a nuclear weapon. This is the single biggest trigger. If intelligence leaks that Iran has enriched to weapons grade and is assembling a device, the Warhawk argument becomes now or never. Final stage is happening. Stop loss orders. That doesn't sound good. The honest framework. The most likely path to ground troops isn't a planned invasion. It's an escalation spiral. A proxy attack kills Americans. U.S. retaliates with airstrikes. Iran retaliates directly, and suddenly you're in a tit-for-tat that political leaders can't de-escalate without looking weak. Wars start from miscalculation more than... Okay. How far are we from that right now, roughly? I'm staying positive this should be swift. Everyone that I listen to is like, this is going to last 3 weeks and we're going to be done. And markets don't care that much. What the fuck? Michael, this isn't hypothetical anymore. It's happening right now? Dude, what? The fuck was that? Why did it just do that? Why did it just do that? Actually, why did it just do that? What? It hasn't addressed... Dog, Anthropic is in the war. What the fuck? Michael, this isn't hypothetical anymore. It's happening right now. The U.S. and Israel launched military strikes on Iran on February 28th. Supreme leader has been killed. Iran is retaliating with strikes on U.S. assets in the Gulf. Here's where things stand as of today. Iran is striking U.S. and Israeli assets in the Gulf. Casualties are rising on both sides, and Qatar has shot down Iranian jets and intercepted missiles. 6 U.S. service members have been killed in action. I thought it was 3. Iran's retaliatory strikes have hit across the region. Missiles intercepted over Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Explosions in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha. At least 555 people killed in Iran, including 168 girls at school. Yeah, this is brutal. On day 1 too. This is really brutal. Trump told, I thought it was 3 Americans, not 6. What happened to 6? Trump told media he thinks the conflict will last 4 weeks, but that's the same kind of optimism we heard about Iraq. Wait, let's see if I could find the like Trump 4 weeks thing.
We also projected 4 weeks to terminate the military leadership, and as you know, that was done in about an hour. So,
Dude, they strike to elementary school. 150 like schoolgirls were killed on the first day. Is crazy. It's fucking. Melania Trump is chairing a UN Security Council meeting. Really?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The 10,113 meeting of the Security Council is called to order.
Oh, fuck me. Fuck me. Fuck me. Hey, mega church. It's not funny. I'm just. Just curious. Just curious. Okay. Let's see. Argue Trump can't fight a war with Iran without congressional approval. Yeah, like he's ever listened to that, right? The ground troops question is now the live question. Right now it's airstrikes and naval operations. The escalation triggers to watch for ground invasion are exactly what we discussed. If air campaigns fail to achieve objectives, if Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz, which just happened, right? I thought this already happened. The U.S. casualties like an hour ago. Analysts are already drawing comparison. If trillion-dollar wars are prolonged, occupations in Afghanistan and Iraq failed, why would air campaigns succeed in Iran? That's the argument that eventually leads to ground troops. From your market lens, oil, gold, and defense are the obvious plays. Well, gold isn't doing anything right now. Unless I'm missing something. Do you know what's fucking doing something right now? It was fucking Bitcoin. Send me the clip. I'll watch it, Alex. Gold's doing nothing. Let's see. Metals. Gold's like flat on the day. Silver's down 5%. Copper's down. Platinum's down. Uranium's up a lot. Gold and fucking Bitcoin. I need to start cigarettes. I need to quit cigarettes. From your market lens, oil, gold, and defense are the obvious plays. JP Morgan is forecasting gold. Should I just keep talking to Claude for a couple minutes? Diamond is warning about cyber attacks and terror attacks globally as a corollary. Gulf airports are shut down. Shipping through Hormuz is threatened. Okay, 2 things. Hold on. 2 things. Let's start here. I have never heard you address me by the first name out of nowhere. Is it really that escalated right now? SPX is green. Gold is flat. Oil futures aren't up that much. Market is calling your bluff. Corollary. It's a weird one. It's this YouTube clip. We'll watch it. If you have good stuff, Chad, I'm down to just do like a fucking try to cover this from all angles for a while. If you have good stuff, just let me know.
Governor, how did it go? Did you?
Okay, are we sure we're gonna watch this? Fair catch on both. The name thing I have from prior conversations just came out. Not a dramatic signal. Don't read into it. And the markets, you're right to call that. I framed it too hot. The market believes this was spiraling into a full-scale regional war. The ground troops in Hormuz closure. Oil would be up 30%. Not up that much. Gold would be ripping. The S&P would be getting destroyed. I mean, where are we? Seriously, like, oil futures is kind of whatever. Palantir had a sick day, which I'll talk about. I added my Palantir position, by the way. And SPY closed green, bro. SPX closed green. Oil futures seem crazy to you, do they? I mean, they did gap here. Last time they were this high was tariffs, I guess. I mean, yeah, they are fucking up a lot. Yeah, this is commodities on Zcash. But, like, you zoom out on this chart and you're like, all right. Now, to be fair, this is Russia-Ukraine. What about, like, on the weekly? Like, it doesn't look like, insane yet. I don't know. But I'm also, this is not my domain, oil futures. I don't trade oil. I trade fucking WIF. WIF and Bitcoin is what I trade in Palantir. This is 2008. Huge inverse head and shoulder. Yeah. This 2008. This is 2011. What was happening in 2011? This is a good one, 2013. It got destroyed in 2020. Why? Because no one was traveling. No. Oh, this was a sick trade, huh? No one was traveling or driving or flying or doing anything. This rip is Russia-Ukraine. No clue. Tariffs. And then where we are now. Wait, let's finish this. Everyone's smart, I know, does oil. Who doesn't think we go higher, to be real. The market is pricing this as limited air campaign, a punitive strike with a defined endpoint. Not Iraq, 2003. Why did Iraq war go on for so long? Punitive. DNAP, send that in the I'm down to just do fucking war coverage today. Fuck, right? Should we just Bitcoin at war? The invasion took 3 weeks. The occupation lasted 8 years. God damn. 8 years in Iraq, bro. This is all George Bush. Oh, I hold this guy's fucking coin. I'm not. This is an hour long. I can't listen to this. Eight years, dude. Wait, let's do like the Iraq war explained 30 minutes. It's a long time.
This is never before seen footage of British soldiers.
Can I even watch this on stream? Wait, let's finish this first. The invasion was easy. Conventional military versus conventional military. The U.S. crushed Saddam's forces. Mission accomplished was May 2003. Then everything fell apart because of a few catastrophic decisions. Paul Bremer dissolved the entire Iraqi military and banned Ba'ath Party members from government. Overnight, you had 400,000 trained armed men with no jobs, no income, no future, and a grudge. No post-war plan. The Pentagon planned. Okay, wait. Let's see. Political trap. Once you were there, leaving means admitting failure and abandoning. Why did they have to leave, and how did it draw out for 8 years? By the way, Claude is like the greatest invention of all time, huh? We should finish our video in a second. They didn't have to leave on any particular timeline. They couldn't leave. Okay. U.S. invasion of Iraq created ISIS. What are the parallels to Iraq war to where we are right now. You mentioned the closing of the strait being an escalation. If it happened, didn't it just happen? Bitcoin looks like it just wants to candle, bro. It doesn't give a fuck. Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck, bro. Bitcoin acting well under geopolitical uncertainty. I never thought it would happen again. We also left all of our military equipment and vehicles when we left. Nothing would be more embarrassing than what we did to in Iraq. Iran is like Iraq on steroids, bro. Way stronger and more contingency plans. You're right. The strait is effectively already closed. Now, the Iraq parallels. The weeks, not months promise. Mission accomplished. Saddam was captured, just like Supreme Leader. No post-war plan. Analysts are already asking. Okay. So before I move on stream, what key headlines / escalations and also de-escalations tell us if this is getting worse or better on either side? You can include market price action. Familiarize yourself with where the market is right now. I mean, if the U.S. military trusts this fucking Claude thing, we might as well too, right? The military trusts it. It's fair if we do too. Okay, here's where we are on what to watch. If it stays closed past 7 to 14 days, Brent sustaining above $90. U.S. casualty count climbing. If that number hits, it's 6 so far. I thought it was 3. If it hits double digits, we're in trouble, okay? Iran hits a carrier or sinks a major vessel. Okay. VIX above 30. What's VIX at right now? 21. Yeah, see, this doesn't seem that crazy to me either. Wow. Breaking, around 16 Chinese military cargo planes have landed in Iran in the past 56 hours, marking China's largest military support to Iran in such a short time. I mean, to be fair, this is the highest VIX has been in a while, but over 30 at once is crazy. Last time I got there was October 2025 and then November 25. Gold breaking about 56 ATH and holding. See, gold isn't reacting crazy to me right now. Gold isn't saying like fucking panic. But the gold weekly is gross still. Look at the gold weekly. It's disgusting. Look at this shit. Oh my God. I mean, this is pretty gross. Like, did it just front run this? Gulf airports staying closed beyond this week. China publicly backing Iran or threatening economic retaliation. Okay, wait. So then this follow-up would be this. Where's that tweet? 16 military cargo. Tulip King, this shit is old. It's from oh, okay. No, this is not true. Not true, not true, not true, not true, not true, not true. Claims unverified with no supporting evidence. Thank God. I'm about to say that's the last thing. Okay. De-escalation signals and we'll finish our video. We'll finish our video after. Yeah, okay, good. Good. I'm about to say, I'm like, it says China public support, and then I just got a note in my Telegram. De-escalation signals. Ceasefire talks. Post leadership willing to negotiate, which I think I've seen headlines for. Hormuz tanker traffic resuming. Okay, still closed. Insurance company reinstating war risk coverage. Brent falling back low. This might be a retarded question, but what is Brent? Trump declares mission accomplished. VIX below 20. This might be. What's the ticker? I'm just watching. Am I watching the wrong ticker? Like, should I not? Is this not the best proxy here? Crude oil futures. Okay, Brent. Got it. I have been watching CO1 instead of Brent, which is a better oil proxy. Brent is the better proxy. Okay. CO1 is the U.S. domestic benchmark, priced off of Cushing, Oklahoma delivery. It reflects North America supply-demand dynamics. Brent is the global benchmark. It's directly tied to seaborne oil trade, which is exactly what Hormuz disruption affects. Got it. Okay, so I'm paying attention to the wrong one. It's different. Oil has different prices because of shipping. Got it. The spread between them is the tell. WTI Brent spread is widening, means the global market is stressed, but U.S. domestic supply is. Got it. If it stays shut, Brent should outrun. Brent tells you how bad the global energy shock is. CO1 tells you how much that shock is hitting the U.S. economy. Got it. The spread between them tells you whether the market thinks this stays their problem or becomes our problem. Got it. So if they're if Brent's ripping and CO1 is not, market isn't that afraid. If we start ripping too, this is our problem. So if CO1 starts ripping, this becomes our problem. Like the market thinks it's an hour. All right, I didn't know that. Good to know. And we're saying oil is the best proxy. Oil and gold, maybe. Good to know. Brent, let's move this down here. Okay, so they're both up 6% today, to be fair. They kind of look like the same chart. Brent is just higher, like, respectively. Corn, please. Decent. Exactly. CO1 ripping while Brent is already elevated. The market is saying the pain is no longer contained overseas. It's hitting U.S. consumers. Got it. And so that means market thinks escalation gets much worse. Not necessarily. More like the market thinks the disruption lasts longer than expected. Okay, cool. Okay, so VIX is the escalation gauge. So the worse that this gets. Which, damn, market open, it was fucking high. Cool. All right, money. We know what to watch at least. VIX is the escalation gauge. CO1 catching Brent is the duration gauge. Both are bad for SPX, and SPX seems to be fine right now. Which is why I sort of was like, okay, market seems to think we're fine. I tweeted this morning. Market thinks we're not going to war because look at this. I mean, this thing is like, bears are like, why hasn't war happened for this thing to fucking roll over? And it's just not. Let's finish this video. 7 minutes. You want to finish this video? Obviously.
From the GCC countries and from Israel, which are being pouted right now by the Iranians. So remember that if the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE,
back up a little bit. Let me go back like 5 just in case.
We're able to regime change from the air alone. You need ground troops. And so unfortunately, what's going to happen over the next few months is that pressure will build on America to send ground troops, especially from the GCC countries and from Israel, which are being pouted right now by the Iranians. So remember that if the GCC countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, Bahrain, if they go, then the petrodollar goes with them. So the Americans need to protect these countries. And these countries are going to demand that either the Americans bribe the Iranians to seize, and this is like $5 trillion in indemnity, okay? Or send ground troops to wipe out the Iranian threat once and for all. And I know that there's no political will for ground troops to be used against Iran among the American people. But remember that 78% of American people was against initial strikes against Iran in the first place.
Right. And one of the things that really comes into question, I think, with all of this, sir, when we're looking at the geopolitical picture and the sacrificing in much of this from the United States on behalf of Israel, is kind of a question as to who and what wanted this. We were actually curious for your view on a disputed report here from the Washington Post. We can put it up here on the screen, F3. A push from the Saudis. Israel helped move Trump to attack Iran. Now, this has been internally disputed by Saudi Arabia, saying that they did not push the Trump administration to attack Iran. However, this is clearly an authorized leak from our own government, trying to at least lay some of the blame on behalf of the GCC. What do you make of this analysis and of this narrative that Saudi Arabia was also trying to
Does that mean an authorized leak? Huh. I wonder how much of the news is authorized leaks.
be behind this push to bomb Iran?
So I've always argued that both Saudi Arabia and Israel are heavily invested in regime change in Iran. In fact, Saudi Arabia sees Iran as much more of an existential crisis than Israel. Because remember, Israel still has nuclear weapons, and Israel is a very diverse, very sophisticated economy, whereas Saudi Arabia is completely reliant on oil. And it's always had problems with Iran because Iran is a theocracy opposed to the Saudi monarchy. Iran funds and equips the Houthis, which have been antagonistic towards Saudi Arabia for the longest time. And right now, the Saudi economy is suffering. It's been trying to pivot towards more of a tourist economy. That's why they brought in Ronaldo. That's why they're switching to e-gaming. That's why they're
all know on Ronaldo
building something called a line, NEOM. And all these things are not working out. So they need to be able to control the oil resources of the entire Middle East if they are to survive and thrive as a nation. So I do believe that this reporting is credible, even though it does make Saudi Arabia look bad. But remember, Saudi Arabia says that they wanted peace, but they are helping the Israelis and Americans attack Iran right now because they're allowing the Israelis and Americans to use Saudi airspace.
So help us understand, because it still feels to me like there's some pieces that don't totally add up. You had in advance of this war on Iran, you
4 minutes, we'll move on.
had top military brass up to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff saying, this is a really bad idea. We are not ready for this. All the math on the interceptors that's been talked about for months at this point. And yet Trump still decided to go ahead. What is the calculus that he was making here that led him to take what already appears to be catastrophic actions?
Right, okay. So this is the key question. Why do they do this? I think there are three possibilities, okay? And I think all three possibilities are valid. The first is the idea of hubris. If you look at history, this is how empires behave. So the Mindoro kidnapping was quick, successful, and it was adrenaline rush for Trump. And that made him overconfident in the capacity of...
I heard someone give this take the other day too, that Trump is just like riding high in dopamine, bro.
The American military, okay? So hubris is a factor, and we see this throughout history. Why did Hitler invade Stalin? Because he conquered Europe really easily, and he thought he was invincible, right? And that led to the destruction of the German army in the Soviet Union. So hubris is a factor. Then you have to look at internal political calculus, where even though America does not benefit from this war against Iran, Trump himself personally benefits. Why? Because the Saudis and Israelis are bribing him to attack Iran. Remember that the Saudis invested $2 billion in the private equity fund of Jared Kushner, who is the son-in-law of Donald Trump, and the Israelis, through Miriam Adelson, have been financing Trump's political career, right? So Miriam Adelson, a few months back, said that she will put up $250 million if Trump were to run a third term. So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis.
What?
Adelson, a few months back, said that she will put up $250 million if Trump were to run a third term.
This can't... is this discourse serious about the third term? It can't be, right? Dude, I don't think we can do 4 more... I don't think we can do 4 more years.
So Trump is getting a lot of financial and political support from the Saudis and Israelis. Also remember that if this war goes sideways and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him...
Third term and we're getting drafted is the only thing I've heard from this interview.
...to influence the midterms. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I...
Stop, bro. Really? Stop, dude. This whole video has edited to this.
If this war goes sideways,
I got some tweets to delete.
and Trump is forced to use ground troops, he will probably get approval from Congress, and this will give him emergency war powers, which will allow him to influence the midterms. So Trump is thinking about a third term. And I think at the ballot box, he probably won't get it. But if there's a war going on and you can delay elections and you have emergency war powers and people rally around the flag, then he probably will get a third term.
I feel like this video has gotten ridiculous. This has gotten ridiculous. I'm not even a geopolitical guy. This has gotten ridiculous. Next thing you know, he's going to call Bitcoin a pedo token. Who would ever think that? There's a minute left.
And the last factor that is very important is...
So his 3 reasons why we're at war is 1, Trump is drunk on dopamine from Maduro. 2, he wants to start a war so he can win a 3rd term. And then 3 is...
eschatological factor, where if you look at the Epstein file and you have emergency war powers and...
You're about to say Epstein files is 3?
People rally around the flag, then he probably will get a 3rd term. And the last factor that is very important is an eschatological factor, where if you look at the Epstein files, it's clear that we are run by secret societies. It's clear that the world is run by these individuals who have a lot of power. We don't know who they are, but they control the military. They control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of...
It's just like hard for me to accept that. You know? Drunk on dopamine, wants the 3rd term, and the Illuminati. It's just like hard to accept that as objective, you know? I feel like he's just yapping now.
They control...
I went 3 for 3 on retarded reasons. I kind of feel like he's just yapping.
The military, they control the national security apparatus. And these people, there are different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of 3 major groups, okay? You have the Jesuits, who control the Vatican. You have the 17 Frankists, which control the modern state of Israel today. And you have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus of the United States. And they believe that Israel, this one Middle East, is key to the end times in creating heaven on earth. So it's almost like a script that they're following, even though it doesn't make any major different names for these people. You can call them the Illuminati. And the Illuminati are composed of 3 major groups, okay? You have the Jesuits, who control the Vatican. You have the 17 Frankists, which control the modern state of Israel today. And you have the Freemasons, which control the national security apparatus of the United States. And they believe that Israel, this one Middle East, is key to the end times in creating heaven on earth. So it's almost like a script that they're following, even though it doesn't make any geopolitical sense, okay? So I would say that these 3 are the best reasons why this is happening.
Those can't be the best 3 reasons, dude.
Well, sir, I hope you come back. This was very informative, I think, for both of
Those are the best 3 reasons? Really?
us. We deeply appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below.
The Freemasons, the Illuminati, and the LA Vape Cabal. Yeah, that wasn't the most informative. It was fun to watch. Okay, Tulip King, what do you got? Yeah, that being the 3 reasons is just like tough. Imagine he's right. Oh my God. Okay, let's watch this now. Okay, wait. Justin. Marco Rubio, who, by the way, has the greatest propaganda team in the history of media. Marco Rubio. This brother might be president. Marco Rubio said that Iran has been producing up to 100 ballistic missiles per month, meant to be used as a shield for when they get nukes. Compare that to building 6 to 7 interceptors per month. You see the attacks, airports, hotels, embassies, facilities, nothing to do with war. That's a week in Iran. Imagine 1 to 1.5 years from now. That's an unacceptable risk. They're making missiles faster than we are making stuff to shoot them down. The war might drag on. Oh, wait, let's watch it.
Compare that to the...
I just like, okay. I feel like all political, and again, look, I don't have, I wasn't, you know, on Twitter and it wasn't created, but I wasn't following the Iraq war, right? Like, so I don't know how these typically play out, but my retard brain, my Zoomer internet brain feels that every politician, Trump cabinet, Trump admin is saying this is going to be over in like a week. And then every trader or schizo on Twitter is saying, brother, this is about to, like, you still have time to short. This is about to drag on. So Trump says 3-4 weeks. And then Claude is like typing my first name in vain saying, brother, lock in. So let's just watch.
Nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 nuclear ambitions. They are producing, by some estimates, over 100 of these missiles a month. Compare that to the 6 or 7 interceptors that can be built a month. They can build 100 of these a month, not to mention the thousands of one-way attack drones that they also have. They've been doing this for a very long time, and by the way, they've been doing it under sanction. You see the attacks they're conducting right now? They're attacking airports, they're attacking hotels, they're hitting not just military bases, they're attacking our embassies directly, they're attacking facilities that have nothing to do with war or with military, and that's a weakened Iran. That's in Iran despite years of sanction. Imagine a year from now, or a year and a half from now, the capabilities they would have to inflict damage on us.
So he's basically saying that we're in a tough spot, huh?
It's an unacceptable risk, especially in the hands of a regime that's run by radical clerics. The Ayatollah was a radical cleric. That entire regime is led by radical clerics.
Okay. Okay, this might be a naive take, but I feel like I'm still looking for the singular point of like what the goal is here, what the cause is, and what the like singular endpoint goal is here. And I can't really accept what we just watched as not the Rubio video, but the video before that. I can't really accept that as like, okay, it was the Illuminati. It's like, all right, what am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with the Illuminati as our answer? What's Tulip King? Tulip King says, well, Tulip King doesn't say, Zelensky, long war in Iran might impact air defense for Ukraine. The new clip of Marco Rubio is nuts. Why do we reckon? I mean, he's basically saying they're fucking powerful as fuck, right? What is he saying? Also, why can't I see quote tweets on... Oh, here it is. Let's see. His face and tone says he wasn't even expecting the Iranian regime to strike civilian targets that they have, even though that was his reason for supporting the attack. So he basically said they're producing 100 ballistic missiles per month, and we can build 6 to 7 interceptors per month. Like, is that what this is saying? Like, I don't know. I'm just reading my left retard brain is reading Twitter, and it's just like, this feels like not 2 weeks. Is what this feels like. What else do we have for videos? What else? Are there any other good like YouTube videos in this? I want to watch more videos. Where can I share a link? Here, I'll watch. Is it a YouTube video? I'll watch it. Well, maybe I'll watch it. Depends. Some of these videos get like super like get a little crazy, and it's like scary for me.
If you go back,
should we watch this, Tucker? Is it a good watch or no? Handlers, can I watch? YOLO, fuck it. All right, if it gets like All right, let's go. Let's go.
Back to.
I need someone to give me like a clean fucking like Y for dummies. I'll go 1.25. Let's watch it. Who is this? Who is this? Excuse my ignorance.
If you go back to
Catherine Fitz. Tucker's never good watch. Catherine Fitz, an American investment banker. That's her. That's Jane Street. If you want the truth, play it. If not, skip it. All right, let's go.
9/11, and when
that's Jane Street.
If you go back to 9/11, and when Wesley Clark said we're gonna invade 7 countries in 5 years, what you were talking about were the countries where those central banks were not on board to do.
Sound a little sick, gang. You've been the volume's too loud. Sorry, let me start over. I need to focus. Chat, stop with baddies and shit.
If you go back to 9/11, and when Wesley Clark said we're gonna invade 7 countries in 5 years,
Sorry. Wesley Clark. Retired U.S. Army officer. He's valedictorian at West Point. It's a big deal.
What you were talking about were the countries where those central banks were not on board to do programmable money. And their governance structures were not on board with essentially, because of Epstein, I'll call it the Rockefeller Rothschild model.
Well,
there was an effort.
We're all over the place right now. Jesus, there's a lot of. Okay, got Epstein and Rockefeller name drop in programmable money in the first 20 seconds.
To say, okay, we're going to basically assert control of the central banks in those countries. That's my interpretation. And I think one of the reasons we're seeing so much tension around Iran is because Iran right now is the big leakage in the system.
How?
So
Tucker's
Wait,
so
it's not
funny.
about their nuke?
Tucker's so funny. You said
big leakage in the system.
He's so good.
How?
Maybe we'll watch the H-Rock video next. We might just be like watching videos all day today. Fuck it. Let's get educated.
Oh,
Wait, it's not about their nukes?
No. So, Iran's central bank counts. One of the reasons it counts is because their oil and energy is very important, including for China.
Yeah.
And that's very important in the BRIC system. What the BRIC system is trying to do is to create independent payment systems. But if you're going to come out with programmable money, with digital IDs that are interoperable globally, and programmable money that controls in each jurisdiction.
Confused. She's talking about CBDCs, 2003. I'm like, what is she talking about exactly with programmable money? Smart contracts? And that Iran isn't on board with their central bank?
You can't afford leakage. And so you've got way too much leakage in the system to proceed with what they're trying to do. And Iran and the BRIC nations are a sticking point. And certainly Iran's oil, feeding China gives China greater independence.
So you think that one of the motives behind toppling all these governments was the creation of the control grid we're talking about now?
Right. So if you go back,
Sorry, but I'm doing it. BRICS is an influential expanding coalition. Okay, I know what this is. Major emerging economies, originally Brazil, Russia, and India, China, and South Africa, aimed at increasing their collective geopolitical influence and reforming Western-dominated international institutions. As of 2026, the bloc has grown to include new members like Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, and the UAE, Indonesia. Got it.
we had the wonderful Richard Werner on your show.
Yep.
And Richard has a book called The Princes of the Yen, which is about the sort of effort to take over the Japanese central bank. And I think what you're looking at, I think part of the state of play with both Russia and Iran is how are you going to make sure that those central banks are entirely in the system?
So, yeah, that was an amazing interview. And he told the story about writing this book on the Japanese central bank. I can't imagine a more obscure topic from my non-economically minded standpoint. It'd be like writing a book on postcards from the Falkland Islands. It's like, just, okay, a book on the Japanese central bank. And he said, well, actually, they suppressed it. I couldn't get it published in the United States, and you can't get a copy. And that's like checkable. So I checked it. You can't get a copy of that book. It's really hard.
I think you can order from its publisher right now.
Okay.
Right.
But,
what's it called?
I mean, why would someone try to suppress a book?
Because it shows you the true, it takes you right into the secret governance system, and it shows you the primary mechanism by which they implement policy.
Yeah. Well, it's always the things you're not allowed to say are probably the important things, right? I mean, whenever they penalize you for having a thought, you're probably on the right track.
Well, it's one of the critical train tracks of control. So it's what I call the third rail. So I used to finance transit systems and train systems. So, a lot of these systems have two tracks that the wheels go on, and then they have a third rail that the power line runs on.
I'm trying. I'm lost. What the fuck is she talking about? I'm lost. I'm really trying, but I'm fucking lost.
And you get a train trap that flips over and sucks the energy from the third rail. So a lot of the things that really operate the third rail are very invisible. And for example, in central banking, to talk about tier 1 and tier 2 and tier 3 capital at the BIS and the banks, there's nothing more boring. It's designed to absolutely.
I just fell asleep in the middle of that sentence.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly. Right.
Is it boring by design?
The way you're taught to talk about it is boring by design. But it's like the mechanisms of the legal system. If you look at the mechanisms of civil procedure or criminal procedure, it can, and you get into the weeds on it, it can be very boring unless you understand the application, and that can make it very interesting. But the capital, most people don't understand the capital's, sort of regulatory system, and it can get very, very boring.
Can you just, for people who haven't seen your previous talk,
Tucker.
explain what the control grid is?
Thank you.
What it looks like and what it means.
So the control grid is a process or an infrastructure that allows digital.
Watch the Professor Jang video, bro.
So the control grid is a process or an infrastructure that allows digital technology to be used to assert phenomenal surveillance and control of people.
Yes.
And at the very heart of it is what I call programmable money.
CBDCs.
So it's money that is no longer just a currency. It's money that comes with a set of rules that can be surveilled and enforced.
CBDCs.
So imagine back in the pandemic, if your money, if I said, okay, you've got to lock down and your money won't work if you leave your house. You can't buy gas in your car because your money is programmed with AI and software to enforce a whole set of centralized rules. And programmable money allows the bankers who've been running monetary policy to now control fiscal policy and essentially replace legislatures and executive branch.
We're going to war over wanting CBDCs.
By making and enforcing the rules through the money. Now that requires a large infrastructure of surveillance. So you need digital IDs, and then you need the hardware locally and globally to do the surveillance and implementation. So for example, if you look at the local hardware, and now people are seeing it, now that it's material, they're beginning to see it snap into place. So I don't know if you know flock cameras, but there are many communities across the United States that are entering into contracts paid by the taxpayers to put up cameras all around their neighborhood that track license plates and keep that data.
This is what Dario was freaking out about, right? Where he's like, the U.S. has had all of this camera surveillance footage, but they couldn't do anything with it. But now you put Claude in the system, and it can download, process, sort, make sense of all of it. And so doesn't matter if it's like, okay, cool, you have all of the surveillance of, the Ring cameras and everything across the world. It doesn't actually matter. But you put Claude in the system, and all of a sudden it's fucking GG's. That's interesting.
Data and share it with a variety of people. Or you have the FCC is trying to overrule local controls on cell towers, so they can literally put cell towers every 400 to 700 feet so that they can have the kind of invasive surveillance you need. Or you have satellites now that can literally beam in Wi-Fi so that whether you have Wi-Fi in your home or not, they can start to track you. And all those systems put you in what I call the panopticon. So we saw in the Middle East with the first war with Iran, we saw 11 leaders out of 12 sort of top leaders in science and government assassinated because they're literally tracking everyone, and they can identify them and track them, and then you have invisible weaponry that can then take them out. Or
she still hasn't said why we're going to war, why we struck Iran, though, unless I'm...
can identify missile strikes. So
let me ask you, so you're talking about the 12-day war against Iran in June of 2025.
Correct.
We were led to believe, just as newspaper readers or news consumers, that those 11 Iranian officials were targeted with human intelligence.
Imagine you go on a first date, a girl takes you home, and this is her mom.
That Israel had spies inside of Iran, but you're saying that was done digitally.
I would assume that's probably true, because you always want to get human confirmation of what the systems are telling you. It's always better if you have both. But we are now moving into building out the kind of surveillance systems that can literally track, identify, and integrate with not only our existing weaponry,
Zcash,
but ultimately autonomous weaponry. So anyway, so let me step back. You've got three parts to the control grid. One is the local hardware and infrastructure, and that includes the data centers.
Okay.
Because if you
Data? I thought those were for AI.
they are.
Tucker.
Because if you look at what it takes
Tucker is such a fucking fuck, dude. I love him. He's such a conspiracy, like.
to apply the equivalent of a social credit system to people's money. So the social credit system I apply to you is different than the one I apply to me. And if you look at the data I need to track you and test whether or not you're following the rules I've given you and enforce those rules, it's an explosive amount of data, particularly because you're looking not just at financial control, but spatial control. So what is AI good at, Tucker? AI is very...
Spatial control, movement control?
Yeah, so turn off the car. So Congressman Massey is trying to kill the kill switch in your car. That's because spatial control means I can turn off your car, or I can set it so your money won't work more than a mile from your home or a 15-minute city. So you're not allowed to leave your 15-minute city. And
I mean, she's just like screaming Bitcoin and Zcash, right? Or am I off? She's like begging us to buy Bitcoin.
Your transportation and your money won't work outside of that area. So let me step back. So what is AI good at? AI is very good at tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. And financial transactions and spatial movement can be expressed mathematically. And so what the AI centers are for primarily is to build that digital control grid and to manage that data. So, and now it can be used for many other purposes too. So it's not just going to be used for control. But to me, that's the primary purpose. And that, if you look at the cameras, if you look at the cell towers, if you look at the satellites, and then the AI, the data centers, those are all component pieces of the local hardware. So there are three sort of pillars that I track. One is the programmable money, and that's what we at Solari are trying to stop. The second is the digital ID, because you need digital ID systems that are interoperable globally, and then the local hardware. And those are sort of the three pillars. And what's interesting is there's phenomenal development of all three. We have a commentary at Solari where we track. It's called the Fast Approaching Digital Control Grid, and every week we update.
Okay, I think we'll get off this. Okay. I mean, it's just like a lot. Like, she's definitely doing some fucking rambling, but interesting nonetheless. Tulip King sent this. 28 views. Okay, wait, what is this? Two miners who, this is the Wi-Fi tracking stuff. Two miners who planned a school massacre were detained. Following an FBI alert, the federal police detained two miners in LA, in La Quiaca, who are planning attacks on schools. Every time you want to relax, just remember the FBI even spies on little kids. Actually, that's not how it works. The social network notifies the FBI. When you send a message, you don't have a name, it's an ID. If the algorithm detects something suspicious, your conversation is automatically sent to the FBI along with all your info so they can track you down easily. And to see in real time where you are, if they see that you're at home, they get into your Wi-Fi router and turn it into a sonar. Then they can see in real time 3D what you're doing. Dog. What the fuck? Holy shit. All right, wait, let's clear some stuff. Because what is this that you just sent? It's public GitHub? Wi-Fi dense pose. This is it? See-through walls with Wi-Fi? No cameras, no wearables? Stop. See-through Wi-Fi walls, no cameras, no wearables, just radio waves. Wi-Fi dense pose turns commodity Wi-Fi signals into real-time human pose elimination, vital sign monitoring, and presence detection, all without a single pixel of video. By analyzing CSI disturbances caused by human movement, the system reconstructs body position, breathing rate, and heartbeat using physics-based signal processing and machine learning. Dude, what the fuck did you just send in the chat, Tulip King? What is this? Any Wi-Fi. Windows, Mac OS, or Linux laptop. Cost. Free. Dude, what? What did you just send in the cheat? Yeah. It's an open source Rust implementation. Is this live? Like, can I use it right now and figure out who's doing what in their house if I have their Wi-Fi? One spicy meatball, I literally am building a Claude Power Linux tool. This is going in if it's legit? What? No, not like that. You don't connect someone else's Wi-Fi to spy on them. You need physical hardware placed inside the space you're monitoring. Got it. You need $8 chips, but it could. So if I put an $8 chip in your house, that is fucking gnarly, bro. It can even measure your heart rate. Okay. Okay, let's keep going. I think we did like pretty good war coverage right now. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like we know what we need to look out for. We watched every conspiracy video. We might watch Atrioc at some point, but fuck, how are we 2 hours into stream? I like have a lot to cover. I want to talk about my Palantir long. I'm actually up a decent amount of money on Palantir, which is sick. Well, I don't know if it's sick, but it's better than me being down. It's better than me being down. So here's what we're gonna do is, goddamn, how have we been live for 2 hours? I'm gonna get up real quick. I'll be back in 30 seconds. This is actually, I didn't realize we're 2 hours in. I have like a lot to cover. I have to talk about Hyperliquid. I have to talk about Venice. I didn't realize how are we 2 hours into stream right now? Let me get up real quick. I'll be back in like 30 seconds or whatever. And then when I'm back, we'll talk about trades. BRB. One sec. Let me get a water. Hold on. I didn't get water. Threadguy stream, the only place you get Iran war coverage, a Palantir long, and Little Xan in the same stream. Okay, one thing I'm gonna say, like something to call out here on this war being like bearish markets is, okay, like I see a lot of bears on my time. There's like an interesting paradox here, which is like, okay, full-blown war, you would imagine would be bearish for the market. Like SPX would finally fall off the cliff. Everyone's been waiting for it to fall off. But one like interesting thought is like, okay, the whole market is propped up on AI spend. And what is unique about where we are right now is that AI is like running the war. And we didn't even get to the war clause segment, but the Friday deadline for Claude, if you want to put the tinfoil hat on to make a deal with the Department of War, is that immediately after, a couple hours after, they strike Iran. And so people are speculating like, was that why the deadline was Friday and it was a hard deadline? And so then this announcement comes out. Wall Street Journal reporting that U.S. used Claude in the airstrikes in Iran. Report says CENTCOM has been using Claude for intelligence assessments, target identification, and simulating battle scenarios. Commanders around the world, including U.S. Central Command in the Middle East, use Anthropic's Claude AI tool. People familiar with the matter confirmed. CENTCOM declined to comment about specific systems being used in its ongoing operation against Iran. The command uses the tool for intelligence assessments, target identification, and simulating battle scenarios. Even as tension between the company and Pentagon ratcheted up, the People said, highlighting how embedded AI tools are in military operation. And so, like, one side of the coin is like, okay, if this thing escalates, you probably want to fucking flee risk and like hide in gold or Bitcoin or whatever else. The other side is like our market is so propped up on AI hype and CapEx spend, which is showing its value right now and probably further confirms it's just going to go up only. Also, I think I know what DNAP just sent. I think I know what this tweet is. I think I know exactly what this tweet is, which is that, what is it, War Bottoms Markets? Yeah. Historical SP 500 performance post-war. Market shrugs it off sooner or later, and it's typically very bullish a year out. And so purple is 12 months out, blue is 6 months, green is 3. Red is 1 day, so it's always bearish 1 day. 1 week is orange. It's always bearish 1 week, or generally, except for Hamas, Israel, October 7, 2023. 1 month is yellow. It's basically always bullish after a month. Russia, Ukraine, except for Gulf War. It's well before my time. 3 months, it's always green, again, except for the Gulf War. 6 months, even the Gulf War was green. Everything was green. And then a year out, after major wars and geopolitical events, is green as fuck. Hamas, Israel plus 34%. Russia, Ukraine plus 7%. Iraq war plus 27%. 9/11 attacks plus 18%. Gulf War plus 9%. JFK assassination. Jesus. November 22nd, 1963. Chat, who was alive in 1963? Plus 22%. Cuban Missile Crisis. 22%. And so this actually is bullish, right? It's crazy. And so it's worth calling out, like, AI is showing its fucking value if there was ever a time to show it right now, which is that, dude, when this headline about Maduro first came out that Claude was using active operation, I was kind of shocked. What we didn't know is that AI has seemingly become proliferated across every single vertical of the United States military. Like they've apparently been actively using it in everything, which is kind of jarring. I guess on the in the good way. But we can spend some time on this War Claude thing. We can maybe do it right now. Let's do this. I'll talk about Palantir real quick, and then we'll talk about War Claude. But I've definitely like shifted a little bit in how I think about who's in the right and who's in the wrong. Ray, Pete Hegseth versus Dario. What do I want to go with to start? Wow, Bitcoin looks so good. We can start here, dude. Real quick. port update is I finally taken a trade. I've finally taken a trade, and I feel like it's a light trade. It's a small trade, tight stop loss. It's not like a crazy trade, but I'm long Palantir right now. I first opened this trade right here, like at 138 and some change. I opened it like right here, maybe like 139 even. I opened it right here on perps. I'm long on Hyperliquid. So I opened it on this candle, and then we drew down a bunch, and then I doubled it on like a clean break of this, like 143. I doubled it on a clean break. I think it's kind of a fun one. Like, okay, Palantir is obviously relatively controversial. Also, my I Love Palantir hoodie I was going to wear it today is gone. There's just a lot of, I know a fun one was like maybe not the best choice of vernacular there. There's just a lot of merging narratives here that are kind of exciting. One, there's like, okay, general geopolitical, like that makes it exciting, by the way, not that are exciting. That makes it exciting as a trade. One is like the major geopolitical unrest. And I'm trying to think like, okay, what could I buy? Like if I don't want to hold cash right now, if I'm scared of cash, if I don't want to be fully in BTC, like what else would theoretically go up in this scenario? And I've never traded oil before. And so I'm like, I don't want to trade oil. Gold feels terrifying. And I know nothing about Lockheed Martin. So what about Palantir? And at the same time, like this is maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. At the same time, Michael Burry is going mega church mode on Palantir. And it's my entire feed is Michael Burry is short. Michael Burry is short. And I'm going to be honest. Like I thought to myself, like, man, it'd be kind of fun to fucking PvP Burry. It'd be kind of fun to PvP Burry. But the main thing I thought was like would make this an interesting trade is like, okay, is we're basically being told in real time post Maduro unfolding narrative. We're being told in real time that AI has basically like proliferated the US military and CapEx spend from the US military on AI and like reliance on it probably goes up only from here, right? Like if it was using the active operation for Maduro, it probably goes up only from here. And then at the same time, like Palantir started, I don't know if it was coordinated or related, but Palantir starts going up at the same time that there's this massive claw drama. And so Palantir is like the US's like AI god overlord tool. And it will never betray the US government, right? They basically make 60, 70, 80% of the revenue directly from US government contracts. And so they're not pulling a Dario. They will comply with absolutely whatever the military wants. Jack, thanks for the 3 gifted. They will comply with whatever the military wants. And if Claude doesn't want to cooperate, then they'll just plug OpenAI into it. They'll plug XAI into it, whatever. And so I'd felt like I've only really been watching stocks like 2 months, like actively paying attention every morning, watching like candles. And I felt like Palantir was getting crushed with SAS. And all of SAS is getting crushed. And Palantir is going down with SAS. And I'm like, bro, like for the AI narrative. And I'm like, bro, you can't vibe code government trust. You can't vibe code like being inserted into the military operations. You can't vibe code that. You can't vibe code government trust. You can't vibe code contracts for the Department of War. You can't vibe code like 10, 15 years of success. And so it started going up while IGV was still going down on the SAS scare. And then for some reason it sort of correlated with that. And then also at the same time, I feel like IGV software ETF like is maybe bottomed. It kind of got like a big volume spike here. Tested no, like maybe this was like a little bear sweep and we're on the back up. So I don't know. This is kind of a fun one to watch. IGV. But I don't know. I'm long Palantir just because it feels like It feels like there's a bunch of like I've been wanting to get exposure to some AI stuff for a while. I didn't want to just like rush into and like slam Nvidia or whatever because it was just like so ridiculously priced. And so I don't know. This one felt like there was a bunch of converging narratives, and all the stuff we were talking about on stream have manifested in Palantir a little bit. And so I just ripped it. I ripped it here. I kind of sat in it, let it just dip. And then tensions escalated. Palantir started getting slammed. And then when it broke back above where I bought it with some volume, I bought more. And so I guess we'll just see what happens. I'm not going to like try to be a hero on this. Yeah. But I want to just see how like it's hard to really get a feel for how this stuff trades without trading it. You know? At least was what I was thinking. Like, it's hard to get a feel for how this stuff trades without trading it. And so I was like, fuck it, let's start trading it and seeing what happens. So that was my Palantir trade. We'll see. And then, as you know, the rest of my money is in spot BTC, which has been extremely painful. Second time ever we've had 5 consecutive red months on Bitcoin. But the important thing to follow on Bitcoin, Iran, is this post, which I believe to be true. It's the first time crypto rises on bad news in about 5 months. And like if we were at 100K on Friday and Bitcoin wanted to go down, it could have went to 80K, 75K in one candle. Like it I remember what happened to BTC, immediate news of Russia, Ukraine. It was just like GG. Wait, let's see. Actually, when did Russia invade Ukraine? February 24th, 2022. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but I don't think I am. I hope got telling it right. February 24th, 2022, Russia invades Ukraine. Goddamn lock in. So this candle closed green, huh? Yeah. So it went from like it was already down bad though, 37 to like 33. Fake recovery back up to 48, and then we just died. So no, it wasn't like crazy. But I remember watching the chart when it was happening and having no idea what was happening in Russia, Ukraine, and being like fucking scared. I remember watching that, like, what the fuck is going on? Was crazy. I very, very, very much remember watching that. And like, if Bitcoin wants to go, if it's ready to go down and you get any news to justify it, it will just fall off a fucking cliff. And so I feel like this is extremely significant right now. Dylan, what's good, bro? Significant that this is the first time this has happened since I don't even know when. And so we're gonna follow it. We'll see. I don't think you could really get too crazy on BTC until we like crush the 70s. Back above 70s and we could start really talking, but we've got rejected from this level a bunch of times. 1 rejection, 2 rejections, 3 rejections, 4. So we'll see what happens. I'm not like too crazy. I'm basically just sitting in BTC and Palantir, some spot Zcash, not much at this point because it looks like it's just going to be dead for an extended period of time. And we'll see what happens. The only other crypto, 2 other cryptos that look great is Hyperliquid looks fucking insane. We'll spend a little bit of time on it in a minute. And then VVV is gross. Look at this chart, fellas. Crazy. Okay, before we move on from war stuff from now, let's see. How do I want to see losses. Yeah, this was crazy. Okay, watch it. This trader, Polymarket. I have a couple traders from Polymarket that are just like interesting. Watch this. On February 27th, February 25, he's up 2 mil. February 26th, 2 mil. 27, 1.5. February 27th, 900K. February 28th, down 5.2 mil, bro. Down 5.2 mil. On U.S. strikes Iran by February 28th, no. Lost 1.5. Strikes by March 31st, no. Down 600K. U.S. or Israel strike Iran by February 28th, no. Down 450K. U.S. strikes Iran by March 1st, no. Down 400 on that. Israel strikes Iran by February 28th, down 400. U.S. strikes Iran by... He basically had no on every single possible market. On nothing ever happens. It's been a brutal week for nothing ever happens. U.S. strikes Iran by June 30th, down 340. U.S. strikes Iran by March 2nd, down 250, 285, 260 on Supreme Leader. Strikes by March 15, 250, 200. Look at this. This is a miraculously large amount of six-figure trades all on the same event is insane. And so he lost like all in all like $7 million plus $7.5 million betting against war in Iran is crazy. All time down 5 mil is just gross. And then this is one more, which this fella crushed it and has basically only bet on major geopolitical conflict. Bet yes on Supreme Leader out by March 31st, made 500. Yes on strike 300, 200. This is old. Okay, this is October ceasefire. But nailed these two trades, basically made $1 million. And yeah, it's crazy how much Polymarket has solidified itself in every culture / news / geopolitical event in the world, not just America. It's like we're talking about Polymarket on the Golden Globes, and we're talking about Polymarket for U.S. striking Iran. And it just is the most relevant. It's like what we're checking when we're trying to figure out what the fuck is actually happening and what is actually going to happen. It just is Polymarket. And this guy fucking crushed it. He was prior to this, at one point he's up 300K, give or take, 360 in October. Runs his port down to minus 22K. Post strikes back up 850 clean. Crazy. So there's just traders, bro. There's traders that are doing it. And then the last thing on war before we get to like Hyperliquid and whatever else is this. Kind of crazy. This is kind of like separate. U.S. court rejects Trump's request to delay $175 billion in tariff refunds. And so this is going to happen ASAP. Tariff refunds is going to happen ASAP. And it's going to be a fucking mess. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's going to be a mess. It's the new PPP loan scam. It's going to be tariff refunds. It's going to be a disaster, bro. There's no plan for how this is going to work. It's going to be a fucking disaster, I presume. Also, you think military / intelligence agency would spam yes or no? Dude, yes. I think, like, bro, if you were like, what are you asking me? What are you asking me? If we had a guy come on, I forget exactly who it was on I forget his handle. He was a Polymarket guest. And he was talking about how every major world leader from every country is watching Polymarket odds. And it's not that expensive. Like if you were the US and you were trying to go negotiate a deal and you wanted to really show force and really show power and act like you really were about to make some shit shake, but you wanted to get a deal done, it wouldn't cost that much money on Polymarket, which is historically perfectly accurate to really skew the odds and act from a position of power. It's kind of a movie. So I think that's definitely happening, or like definitely being considered at this stage, which is crazy. It's gotten that big. It wasn't Gem Changers. It was it MEP? MEEP? MEP? Maybe. It wasn't Gem Changers, but I don't see why it wouldn't happen, actually, if I like really think about it, right? It's at least being considered. I mean, they're checking it. Like, I would imagine Iran is like was checking Polymarkets for this. Like, how serious are they? It's like, I don't know. Check Polymarket. It's probably more accurate than news headlines, right? Maybe less accurate than intelligence they have internally, but accurate. Like, accurate enough to be considered. You have to consider Polymarket. There was a lot of volume, though, on these markets. There was 60 mil on Supreme Leader out. I think there was 60, 70 mil on out. That's not cheap to skew that. To really skew that, that's the thing. The best markets are not cheap to skew. But the more money bet, the more accurate it is, right? Because it's like you're less likely to be able to just someone on YouTube chat says, "Was the last time you made 1K SOL on a trade? How much is 1K SOL? 80,000? 85,000? $400. It's funny. I don't know. Zcash? Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about crypto. Yeah, Zcash probably. I haven't been trading that much. I've just been getting cooked. Honestly, bro. I've just been sitting on my hands. I haven't been getting cooked. I've been sitting on my hands. We're just waiting for this to do something. This miraculous, beautiful chart to do something. Chat. My handlers are telling me to watch this Fern video right now. Do you want to watch this or no? On this Fern war video, and then we can be done with it for now. Or we can do Hyperliquid first. I'm down. Let's watch the video. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. It's 10 minutes long. We'll watch it, then we'll talk about Hyperliquid. Because it's like, fuck it. We might as well. Oh, damn. Fern's a movie. Fern's such a movie.
It's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets
Oh my god, Fern is a movie.
It's roughly 6 a.m. in Israel. A series of fighter jets takes off, armed with long-range high-precision missiles. According to CIA and Israeli intelligence, a significant portion of Iran's leadership has gathered here, in a compound in Tehran. Among them, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the country's supreme leader. 2 hours and 5 minutes after the jets took off, Israeli missiles strike the compound. This is how the Israeli and US attacks on Iran unfolded, how the country's leader was killed, and what has happened since. By the time this video is published, new details might have emerged.
Jesus. Oh, man. That was a crazy intro, I'm not gonna lie. Fuck. Who suggested this? You fucking did.
The US, Israel, and Iran have a long history of tensions. Until 1979, Iran was an authoritarian monarchy ruled by Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. He was supported by the US. When his regime was overthrown in the Iranian Revolution, Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini took control of the country and founded the Islamic Republic. He was determined to transform Iran into a country ruled by Islamic law. Khomeini abandoned the former Shah's pro-Western stance. The US and its close ally Israel were declared sworn enemies. Especially the opposition of Israel became a strategic and ideological goal. Ruhollah Khomeini died in 1989 and was succeeded by Ali Khamenei, a cleric who quickly rose through the ranks and had become a key figure in the religious leadership of the country. Over time, Iran, Israel, and the US repeatedly engaged in conflicts. Sanctions were imposed onto Iran. Iran became a key financier of anti-Israeli militias in the region. In 2002, it was uncovered that Iran was enriching uranium at 2 secret locations. The enriched uranium could be used for nuclear reactors or nuclear weapons, a fear the US and its allies had had for a while already. Iran has repeatedly denied its alleged pursuit of nukes. The US and Israel ran many attempts to stop the nuclear program, through cyber attacks, the assassination of key scientists, and especially in the US's case through diplomacy. In 2015, the Obama administration and the Iranian regime agreed to a nuclear deal.
This is a good day, because once again, we're seeing what's possible with strong American diplomacy. Under the nuclear deal that we, our allies and partners, reached with Iran last year, Iran will not get its hands on a nuclear bomb.
However, in 2018, President Trump pulled out of the deal.
The fact is, this was a horrible, one-sided deal that should have never, ever been made.
Ever since, relations have tensed up. In 2025, in the midst of new negotiations, Israel and the US launched a series of airstrikes on Iran using bunker buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. And
See, that's part of the reason I was confused when tensions started escalating again, because I was like, I thought we were done with Iran having nukes, and it was done after 2025.
Airstrikes on Iran using bunker buster bombs. 3 Iranian nuclear sites were heavily damaged. In the same year, Iran plummeted further into an economic crisis. The currency crashed, food prices soared, people grew frustrated. By the end of 2025, mass demonstrations erupted across the...
Okay, yeah, like we were done with it. Like I vividly remember this being a thing, and we were just like, okay, we're done. But then now it's like, no, actually we're not done. It's like, wait, what do you mean?
Country. Peaceful protesters and rioters called for the end of the Islamic Republic. Trump called for an uprising of the Iranian people against their government, saying help is on its way. But the regime brutally cracked down on the protests. It shut down the internet across the country. For days, little to no news made it out. In the end, thousands of people were killed. 50,000 reportedly got arrested. The US began to build up troops in the region, with Trump repeatedly threatening Iran. On Thursday, February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the two countries in Geneva. To no avail.
Oh, so that
Saturday,
just
February 28, around 9:40 a.m. To no February 26, there was a last-ditch diplomatic effort between the two countries in Geneva. To no avail. Saturday, February 28, around 9:40 a.m. in Tehran, Iran's capital. This government compound is not far from Hua Square. It reportedly houses offices of the Iranian presidency, Iran's National Security Council, and the supreme leader. Since 2025, the US has apparently gained specific insights how Ayatollah Khamenei and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps communicate and move while under pressure. Reportedly, the
how much of this is with Claude? How much of this are they using Claude AI to determine war plans? Seemingly it's a lot.
CIA has tracked Khamenei for months. They've mapped his whereabouts and studied his patterns. They're confident he's here today, and they learned of a meeting of top Iranian officials on site. The US and Israel originally intended to strike at night under the cover of darkness, but they reportedly moved the time of attack. This opportunity was too good to miss. Suddenly, Israeli missiles hit their buildings. During impact, several national security officials are in one of them, Supreme Leader Khamenei reportedly in another. Afterwards, satellite imagery shows heavy damage to the buildings. Black smoke is rising. Geo-confirmed footage recorded here also shows massive amounts of smoke in the area of the compound. A picture taken here, too. Ali Hosseini Khamenei died in the attack. Also killed, Suyid Abdorrahim Mousavi, Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces. Ali Shamkhani, Head of the National Defense Council. Muhammad Pakpour, Commander-in-Chief of the IRGC. Aziz Nazerzadeh, Defense Minister. According to Israeli news, a total of 30 senior Iranian officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike. The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel.
How many? $30 senior Iranian officials. Holy
officials were killed in just half a minute in the opening strike.
Yeah, by the way, we're on the brink of war. Let's put all of our chief leaders in the same room. I don't get that. Everyone's in the same spot? What is that? Why is everyone in the same room?
The operation was dubbed Roaring Lion in Israel and Epic Fury in the US. It has been planned for months. Masoud Pezeshkian, president of Iran, however, survived. Ali Larijani, secretary of the Supreme National Security Council, vowed Iran would fight back and assured continuity of governance. The strike on the government compound was just one part of the operation. Afterwards, Israel reportedly take out Iran's...
Wait, is that sus? To discuss war, it's like, all right, fine, but like, we have Zoom. Are you taking your whole family on one plane? Aren't you afraid? Fine. But, fine, we play the intro every morning, fair. But, yeah, how many microphones are you when you use knives, rubber knives? Okay, fine, but like, I'm not getting on the plane to go to war. It's a little bit different if we're like entering a war zone. We'll probably take different planes. That's a little off.
Defenses, especially around Tehran. In a third wave, Israel deploys roughly 200 fighter jets, bringing much of its air force into Iran. The goal is reportedly to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible. The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet.
Wait, sorry.
Reported.
I was zoned out, sorry.
to destroy as many Iranian missiles as possible, as fast as possible. The US reportedly joins in about 30 minutes after the attack on Iran's leadership. According to the New York Times, their attacks focus primarily on targets in eastern Iran, far away from Israel. They also attacked the Iranian fleet. Reportedly, US warships fire Tomahawk cruise missiles at Iranian targets. American ground forces use artillery rocket systems. Several military and command centers in Tehran are hit by Israeli airstrikes. Further explosions are reported in Iranian cities across the country. Trump releases a video officially announcing the military operation and urges the Iranian people to take over.
Dude, this video, I was awake when he posted this video. Man.
Government.
When we are finished, take over your government. It will be yours to take.
Netanyahu later does the same. Shortly after their announcement, an airstrike hits the Sarayet Hayyibi Elementary Girls' School in Minab, Hormozgan province. Iranian state media and officials claim that at least 175 people got killed, most of them likely children. These numbers have not yet been confirmed independently. According to the New York Times, the school is adjacent to an Iranian naval base. US Central Command announced an investigation into the strike. Iran launches Operation Troop.
It's adjacent to a naval base? That is dark. Man, that is really dark.
Promise 4.
Jeez, man. 175 kids.
And the retaliatory strikes begin. Countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites.
Dude, this video was in Dubai, I think. Somebody posted this video.
Strikes begin.
Not this. This video was in Dubai. And oh my God, I watched. It's like chills down your spine watching this video.
Countless missiles are fired at dozens of sites across the Middle East. More than 200 missiles are launched at Israel alone. In solidarity with Iran, the Houthis in Yemen announced that they will resume attacking shipping lanes in the Red Sea. This effectively ends a 3.5-month pause following the 2025 Gaza ceasefire. The US-led coalition reportedly intercepts several drones and missiles heading towards Erbil in the Kurdistan region of Iraq with no casualties. Multiple news outlets later report explosions near Erbil International Airport where US soldiers are stationed. That afternoon, Dubai International Airport is hit with an Iranian drone, striking Terminal 3 and effectively closing UAE airspace. Several luxury hotels like the Burj Al Arab and Fairmont de Palm are set on fire. It's unclear whether this was the result of a direct attack or if the fires were caused by debris from intercepted missiles.
Dude, I saw people posting a lot of money to get out of Dubai. People posting like buy orders on private planes to get out of Dubai. It's crazy.
But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian.
I was paying attention.
But the UAE isn't the only country targeted by Iran. In Bahrain, missile and drone attacks hit the US Navy 5th Fleet headquarters. Footage shows what appears to be an Iranian Shahed drone striking a tower block roughly 20 minutes from the facility. In Qatar, the Ministry of Interior reports 66 ballistic missiles were fired at the country. The debris reportedly injured at least 8 people. In Saudi Arabia, the Prince Sultan Air Base is targeted by ballistic missiles, which are reportedly successfully intercepted. In Jordan, the military reports that it has intercepted and downed 49 drones and ballistic missiles, likely headed for the major US military bases across the country. In Kuwait, Iranian drones strike 2 passenger terminals of the Kuwait International Airport. In Syria, debris from an Iranian missile kills at least 4 civilians while injuring several others. Both Qatar and Saudi Arabia announced that they reserve the right to respond. The Arab League condemns Iran's attacks. Following the blanket strikes by Iran, NATO senior command said its missile defense systems in Europe and its early warning radar in Turkey are on alert.
Dude, I can't imagine just moving to Dubai. For, like, this was a discourse on Twitter for so long. Everyone's like, why don't you move to Dubai for taxes? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Move to Dubai? No, absolutely not. I'll stay my ass in Mamdani, New York, and I'll put a smile on my face and be happy about it.
Some experts warn that Iran may activate sleeper cells in Europe and North America. There are many more events and details we can't cover in this video, as attacks continue back and forth. So let's zoom out a bit. The US's involvement in the attacks is controversial. On Truth Social, Trump said this:
Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats.
What's up with the hat thing? This is a new thing, I think, for him. The hat. What's up with the hat? I'm seeing a lot of white USA hat.
From the Iranian.
How do we feel about it? I kind of, yeah, I kind of like it.
Regime. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world.
Theoretically, New York probably isn't a great place to be. It's a big target if someone was trying to do harm. Thank you, Teo, for sharing that. Yeah, thanks.
It's an argument for a war of necessity. An attack was looming across the sea, so the US had to strike preemptively. But it's unclear how Iran's activities directly endangered the United States. Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own...
Everyone then follows up, he's right, though.
Iran was apparently years away from obtaining a nuclear weapon, according to the US's own intelligence. The country's ballistic missile arsenal is estimated to reach no more than 3,000 kilometers, a threat to neighboring countries, but not to the US. Iran might have been attacked because it was in a uniquely weak position, as a type of preventive measure. This might make this a war of choice, not one of necessity.
These preventive wars are often condemned internationally, not only because they're optional, because if every nation went out to strike adversaries who they thought were temporarily weak, we would live in a world of constant war.
According to international law, a war of choice would be illegal. There are also discussions whether the attack was in violation of the US Constitution.
What is international law like? International law is like just a state of mind at this stage. It's not even a... It's just like an idea. It's like a concept. It's a suggestion, it feels like. International law feels like a suggestion in 2026.
Started the war without congressional approval. Across the US and parts of the world, protests erupted, partly against the Iranian regime, partly against American involvement in the war. Oil prices have risen sharply. Experts warn of an impending global energy crisis because of the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. In Iran, people celebrate the death of Ayatollah Khamenei. Others are grieving. At this point, it remains unclear who will succeed him. For now, the regime formed a provisional government. It seems set on revenge and continues to strike Israeli and US bases. The exact number of deaths is hard to determine at this point. According to the US military, so far, 3 American soldiers have been killed, with 5
We read 6. Claude told us 6.
Seriously injured. According to Al Jazeera, 10 people have been killed in Israel, 3 in the UAE, 1 in Bahrain, 1 in Kuwait, 13 in...
Claude says 6, and if that number gets to 10 plus, watch out.
Lebanon, and 2 in Iraq. The Iranian Red Crescent has reported that since the attacks, at least 555 people have been killed, with hundreds injured. According to the Times of Israel, these numbers do not differentiate between military and civilians. The situation is likely to escalate further in the upcoming days. Timely reporting like this is incredibly resource-intensive. It's only possible...
What is this? What the fuck is this?
Thanks to today's sponsor, Hansen Shaving. We're grateful they're supporting our work. Many men experience razor burn, ingrown hairs, or skin irritation when shaving.
Dude, brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. I mean, they couldn't get a Palantir ad or anything for this.
Hansen approached the problem from an engineering perspective, researching what actually makes a shave more precise and skin-friendly. The result is a sleek, long-lasting aluminum razor designed for accuracy. The blade sits at a 30-degree angle and extends just 0.0013 inches past the shave plane, less than the thickness of a human hair. That precise blade support reduces flex, which can mean less irritation and a smoother, more controlled shave. We're genuinely big fans. To support the channel and get started, visit hensonshaving.com/FernTV and use code FernTV at checkout to get a free pack of 100 blades with the purchase of a razor.
My shit is kind of long. Why do we watch that ad? This is a sponsored reaction from threadguy. That was, I mean, bro, the video is an hour old. That was a fucking, yeah, I mean, that was a fucking dark video. Oh, it is a, man, I hope all you guys are okay and safe. I don't know where everyone is located. It's a great video. It's very well done. It's pretty horrifying. idea of war is pretty horrifying, especially in 2026. They're just firing drone strikes back and forth at each other with Claude. Our Claude versus their Claude, and we're just like firing rockets. It's insane. Jeez. I mean, look, I'll tell you this. I'm smiling because someone said Flood retweeted the clip about 9 Fig Whale dinner. Shout out Flood with the retweet. I love when he retweets my clips. We're mostly going to cover this from the lens of markets and what it means for markets. But you kind of have to do day one. No guest, solo, and watch as much content as humanly possible and just like get everybody on the same page, right? So that's what the goal of today was. And with that, markets comes what I think is one of the cleanest bull cases for crypto I've seen in a long time, which is Hyperliquid 24/7 markets coming, I mean, in like the most handy, because these strikes, you're a great streamer, only getting better. Love the show. Thank you, G. I mean, look, I guess this is a thing that has always happens, but they wait for market close to launch drone strikes into Iran and basically throw us in a full-fledged war. And bro, the markets are closed. It's the weekend. You can't trade anything, but you could trade Bitcoin, and through Hyperliquid, yes, low volume, yes, low liquidity. You could trade oil. You could trade Mag 7. You could trade individual stock ticker. Like Palantir was, I'm at the club at 4 a.m. I'm like, what's going on? Well, I'm looking at charts you can't see. And you can trade gold. You can trade silver. You could trade, I can't read that. So Bloomberg posted a article. It looks weird. It's in Notion, but this is a Bloomberg article, which is a big deal in my opinion. This is a big deal for Hyperliquid, and it reads. I just highlighted the key points. Polymarket and Hyperliquid created a new level of transparency. Yeah, Hyperliquid and Polymarket together is like a scary duo, powerful duo. So. Takeaways by Bloomberg article. Perpetual swap futures tied to oil, gold, and silver rose on crypto exchange Hyperliquid amid escalating tensions between U.S., Israel, and Iran. Bitcoin and Ether gained as much as 2.3 to 2.4% in one afternoon trading in New York, while U.S. equity-linked indexes on Hyperliquid fell 0.4 to 0.75%. The events of the weekend validated the thesis that 24/7 trading of all asset classes on-chain is inevitable, while some experts are saying it shows the need for round-the-clock trading beyond conventional market hours. Perpetual swap futures, aka perps, a type of futures contract that does not expire, tied to oil, jumped 5% on crypto exchange Hyperliquid, while those for gold and silver rose roughly 1.3 to 2%, respectively. Meanwhile, Bitcoin reserved earlier losses to rise as much as 2.3% around 67K in afternoon trading in New York. Ether gained 2.4%. This is a Bloomberg article directly, so it's like covers a lot. As Middle East tensions escalated, crypto sold off, and because Bitcoin trades 24/7, it became the most liquid asset available for traders looking to hedge or express a view on the move. It's another weekend of 24/7 price discovery on the world's most impactful markets via multiple perp markets deployed on Hyperliquid. It's hopefully a more macro shift in how markets operate globally, said co-founder of Felix, one of the startups on Hyperliquid. The founder of QFX was also quoted. A new 24/7 exchange for traditional asset classes says that weekend events are a kick in the face for those who question the need for 24/7. He added, it really shows in today's climate, price action never sleeps. I mean, bro, imagine you have a huge book and you're long oil or you're short oil and you are watching. Like, dude, imagine this scenario. Imagine you run a huge book. You're short oil futures. And then you see Polymarket spike U.S. strike Iran February 28th. You see it go from like 40% to 85%, 90% before there's a headline. And you want to get out. Or even better, it goes to 100%. Headline comes out, U.S. strikes, and it's Friday night. You can't trade again until like Sunday night, Monday morning. You're fucked. You're stuck in the spot, just praying it doesn't get worse. You can't move. You can't do anything. You can't react to info. You can't do anything. And so you can hedge by buying the yes option. Yeah, you can hedge with Polymarket, the other new 24/7 market, right? Like this is crypto enabled tech, new tech. And so here's the Hyperliquid chart on the back end of all of this. Look at this shit. One day. Disgusting. And so I initially, if you remember, I had a buy orders for Polymarket for Hyperliquid at 35. I got chopped into this sloppy execution slam trade. And then I got stopped out. I just kind of like cut it. But back above this level, you just got to be a buyer again. I mean, you just do. Back above 35, 36, 37, 38, back in the 30s with some volume. And it's just like, I'm a buyer again. It's just, it's playing out so pretty. Why Hyperliquid is playing out so pretty, in my opinion. And so Hyperliquid at the same time as, look at Circle, bro. Look at this. Where is it on my chart? Am I fucking tripping? Here it is. Best gainer. Look at this. Hype flips Bitcoin. Jesus. Look at this. Top gainer, Circle. All of a sudden, man, the narrative for crypto is starting to manifest. It's starting 24/7. Everyone everywhere wants to talk about stablecoins. At some point, we're going to get some clarity on this Clarity Act, which probably went from a sell the news to people don't think it's ever going to happen. So if it does happen, it's a positive. To Bitcoin reacting positively on bad news for the first. Like, we're starting to stack. Look, I'm not saying it's time, but we're starting to get some motion on my crypto is what we're starting to get. And it's coming at us relatively quick. And so this is a guy I really like. I'm trying to get him on stream. I'm scared. I'm not going to click on his DMs on stream, but probably the single best P&L in the silver trade. Not in the world, but on Twitter publicly. Nailed the silver trade like nobody else. And he tweets, at a certain point, it's going to become fiscally irresponsible to not manage your weekend gamma via these 24-hour markets. And this is the XYZ gold chart. Imagine you can't trade gold while we're going to war. It's market's closed. Sorry. What? What do you mean? You're like, well, buy Bitcoin. You're like, well, I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I don't want to buy Bitcoin. I want to buy gold. It's like, no, you're gonna buy Bitcoin. And so unique spot, Hyperliquid. It just offers a product the world needs. The world just needs the product. And then narrative violation. Bing, bing, bing. By the way, my favorite vernacular right now. All right, in and out for 2026. Out. Monitoring the situation is out. If you say that shit, you're cringe. Everyone's monitoring the situation. Monitor the situation is out. Narrative violation is in. 2026. I'm putting you all in game. Narrative violation is in. Okay? Narrative violation is in. Monitor the situation is out. I promise you it's out. Stop. If you say it, you cringe. If you say it, you cringe. Also, if you post Claude, make no mistakes, you're outing yourself as I don't use Claude LARP because no one actually says that. But narrative violation is in. Is in. Okay? And a good counter to this, total hype volume on strike day is 800 mil. Not that much. Early Feb, we did almost 6 bill in a day. On hype, a lot of 2 bill days. This was not a particularly high volume day for Hyperliquid. It wasn't. So narrative violation on this. But look, at the end of the day, this is just HIP3 markets. Yeah, HIP3 markets. But it was doing $1 billion a day on silver for a minute. Top 3 things that never happened. Oh, this probably has no idea what I've been experiencing. No matter what, it's definitely happening with hype. It's definitely happening as narrative vibe shift on crypto. And the last thing that's going crazy right now is Venice, VVV, which I'm trying to get Eric Voorhees on stream. We'll probably get him on some point in the relative near future. This is a thing I just like I don't know that much about this. Does anyone hold this? I don't know that much about this. I'm gonna be honest, I kind of faded this like really hard. I faded it really hard, and it's like the best performing crypto right now. It got fudded a lot when I remember when it launched. It got fudded a lot from Coinbase wallet selling. We got listed on Coinbase day one. It was basically down. Look at this. Look at TGE. It was down only. It went down 80% post TGE, like in a straight line. And so my understanding of it, high level, is we'll probably cover it in depth tomorrow a little bit more. But the way I understand it, it's like a privacy wrapper for open source models, AI, where you can spend their token to get tokens or to pay for tokens. And your data is like not stored locally or anything. And so it's like a privacy wrapper for AI models to run locally. And it's the recommended model provider on OpenClaw. And so model providers, OpenClaw can use many LLM providers, pick a provider, authenticate, then set the default models, provider/model. Highlight, Venice AI. Is this paid? This has to be paid, right? Like highlight, it has to be a paid ad. Venice is our recommended Venice AI setup privacy for privacy first inference with an option to use Opus for hard tasks. And its default is Llama 3.3. So it's like way behind. Who's running Llama 3.3 is awful. But it's going. We'll probably read this tomorrow. Claudebot Peak, I already changed this. Yeah, that's shocking because I'm like, he hates crypto. Let's see. Is this like a scam? Let's see. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here it is. Okay, I can't really understand. Sniping founder of OpenClaw is anti-crypto because that's an edited screenshot. No, this was simply an oversight. We don't want to recommend any provider over another. Did it dump on that? Probably, right? Yeah, it did, unfortunately. So I'm not a buyer here. It's like an interesting thing to follow, though, on the AI crypto narrative for sure. And it's good to see another crypto token do well. I'm definitely not a buyer of this token. Like, I'm not like FOMO chasing this. There's two tokens. VVV is the capital asset of Venice, staked to receive yield, or mint Diem. And then Diems are equal to $1 per day of credit. So you basically pay Diem to use the model, the private model, which is like an interesting. The only thing is if it gets too expensive, it's like not realistic to use it. It's like, I don't know exactly how inflation and deflation and everything works as it relates to that. So a couple people hold it, but not much. I guess in the meantime, bro, we're basically just sitting here at the mercy of what happens next with war. Like, market opens are electric at the moment. Market opens are electric. Bitcoin price action from here is going to be very telling. I guess we're going to play really close attention to oil prices. And we're going to just see what happens. I have a lot of stuff I wanted to cover today, but I think we're just going to save it. Like, you invited Chris Camillo. He's invited, bro. That fucking guy. That guy, bro. Chris Camillo. We'll get him eventually. Okay, a couple other like slop things happen. Do you want to watch Tom Lee? Let's watch Tom Lee clip. Tom Lee's bullish.
Had early weakness. They're all had early weakness. They're all probably in the final stages or have already bottomed. And I think that helps.
Tom Lee every day on CNBC for the last 5 months of red only candles. I think we're bottomed.
Lead us up to an up April.
Have you woken up in the middle of the night and looked at where Ethereum is and said, I can't go back to sleep?
No.
You're not worried yet?
No, because, you know, Ethereum, there's the fundamentals, you know, like what's happening. So much is being built on Ethereum now. I mean, almost every major announcement of a tokenized fund is being built on Ethereum.
Does that translate to supply and demand dynamics that make the price go up, though? Or can you just keep building out all these networks at 1900?
I mean, that would be like someone saying all this activity is happening in the United States, but the economy shouldn't boom, you know?
That's actually a sick point. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So if it's all taking place on Ethereum, then price follows. But we are in a crypto winter, so price doesn't matter. You know, capital is looking at gold and silver and ways of, you know, hard assets. But that isn't always going to be the case.
I'd read you buying more Ethereum on the dip. How much more, and does that continue today?
Yes.
Remember her clip where she's like, Michael, how are you going to refinance the debt, Michael? Michael, I'm like getting chills down my spine.
Bitmain's been buying about $50,000 or about $100 million of Ethereum every week, but the cash balance has grown to over 800 million. So it's able
From who, Michael? I'm like, getting chills.
to, at the right moment, make a major buy of Ethereum. So I think we're getting ready for the crypto bottom.
Very
but we're
good.
still buying about 100 million a week.
100 million a week is so gross. I like the US analogy. It was actually pretty good. Last deleted tab. What did I just delete? Oh, also this happened, which is kind of crazy. Cal AI was acquired by MyFitnessPal. And dude, it was probably for a fucking lot. It's kind of huge news, honestly. Like, bro, the young, oh fuck, what I just do? The young founder, super lean team in the age of AI is such a movie. And I don't know if you guys know what this is. This is a guy from At Mafia, by the way. Dropped the chorus. Do you remember this? Like on the back of the Cluely stuff. Everybody freaked out. I have seen Cal AI on every IG Reel ad for so long, bro. They have the guy who's like you know, like the kid who's like he has like the steak on it, like the eggs and the shit, and he's like, no, bro, like don't hook up with that girl while you're drunk at a party. Like, no, bro. And he like puts the steak in the fucking, you know what I'm talking about or no? But he's on my TikTok every day. He's kind of a movie. And it always ends with Cal AI. Do you know what I'm talking about? He's like, no, bro, you need a godly woman, bro. And he like dips the steak. You know what I'm talking about? No one has any idea. No one knows. How does nobody know who I'm talking about? I think his name's Owen. No, bro. You need steak and God. Don't hook up with that girl, bro. Yeah, whatever. I guess we're just gonna see what happens. Oh, here's the guest, by the way. Here's our guest. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. Thank you. The grown kid. Yeah, he's grown, but he's like, it's like questionable. He's like a senior in college. Yeah. He's like yes. Thank you. He's like a senior in college. This is who's coming on Wednesday. I'm fucking hyped, bro. One of the best follows on Twitter. Nody's on. Really, really, really sharp. Monitoring the situation. Good trader. Like, bro, he is fucking good. Also, he's long. He is really good. I don't know who he is actually, but he wants to come on. Well, I asked him. I begged him to come on. He said yes. And so we're going to just see, but I think he's going to be one of the best people to have come on in a while. And yeah, I'm hype. I'm fucking hype. Also, we can get Mando back. And we can get there's a couple people I'm working on. And so this is what we're gonna do. Is we're gonna monitor the situation. I'm gonna do my fucking best to give you geopolitical coverage every single day. Tomorrow will be more crypto markets focused. Today was setting the fucking tone. And we're gonna see what happens. So that stream. That's all I got. I'm rugging 3 hours. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Look, tomorrow we more. I want to just set the tone. I felt like I had to come here to talk about the weekend, right? Like, obviously, that's what we have to talk about. I'm coming here tomorrow. We're going to talk about fucking everything we got to talk about. Markets, crypto, everything. Yeah, I look like shit. I haven't slept. Oh, also, I'm getting PRP injections in my shoulder on Thursday, so I might miss stream. I'm going to have to miss, dude, on Thursday. I'm probably going to have to miss on Thursday. I know. Dude, I'm getting a fucking PRP injection in my shoulder. And there's nothing I can do. Bro, they're taking a 10-inch needle this long and they're shooting it in my shoulder and I can't take pain medicine. Weekend stream then, bro. I'm going to have to miss a day, I think. It's like plated blood from my spine. They spin it 100 million times. They shoot it. I have 2 muscle tears. I have an exterior labrum and like an interior labrum, and they're both torn. And they have to fix it. Weekend stream, bro. Hey, how was stream today? I know it was like a unique one. I know we like watched a lot of videos, but I was going to do a bunch of other stuff, but like people were into the video, so fuck it. We just ripped it. Sad Sunstream gonna go crazy, bro. You're nuts. All right. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you so much. I'll be back tomorrow. This is how we do it. Great research. This is how we do it. All right, I'm out. See ya. Peace.